welcome everyone to the JK Podcast, the only podcast that was super psyched about Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, JK.
I'm Ken O'Connor.
I'm Josh Brandman.
And recording on June 24th, 2020 at 9:17 p.m. on the East Coast. This is the JK Podcast, episode 60.
That's right. Happy 60th,
Happy
Kenneth.
60th. It's a milestone.
The big 6-0.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Is there like a... Well, no, that's like anniversaries. There's like special
like the
things,
paper
right?
anniversary.
Right. Like, there's no like defined thing of like 50 you do this, 60 you do that. Like, there's none of that, right?
I feel like there should we start that now, like, for future podcasts?
Not that we've come up to any of these yet, by any means, but yeah. We just declare, you know what, at 50, it's like... By the time we're 50, something's probably going to be different, but...
Yo, I can't imagine life at 50.
You know, the sad thing is, I feel like it's almost going to be the same thing.
I don't know, dude. The difference between this year and last year, life is completely different.
Well, right, but true. I mean, I'm kind of thinking of it as like a one-off, but
yeah,
we'll see. If anything, it's just more like work from home things. I feel like that's the biggest thing to take away from all this, aside from anything else, like just at least virus-wise and whatnot, that has shown.
I keep worrying about
work from home.
I keep worrying about movie theaters because like AMC's emailing me now, like, "Hey, we're opening back up." I'm like, "Good sir, yeah. I do not believe you are. No.
I mean, you can just wear a mask the whole movie.
I would go to an AMC theater to watch a movie if I could buy the row or the theater.
That's not good enough, though. Well, okay, theater's different, but like a row isn't necessarily good enough because, you know, it's not just left and right, you know, it's front and back too. So you'd have to have like 3 rows, at least vertically. Horizontally, maybe like 5 or 6 seats. Like I don't. It's like.
Yeah, you need like
too much math.
You need
and like movie theaters, they're not going to try to do that math and try to make it work. But unless they get super desperate, no one's really going.
That's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to do it so like you can buy like a block, not like a block of seats, but like you will get a seat where you are guaranteed no one will be like 5 seats in front of you, 5 seats back of you, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Not like I go to movies that much anyway.
I used to go all the time.
Honestly, most of the movies I go to are with you, which shows how many movies I actually go to, because we maybe do like, what, 1 or 2 a year?
And only like special movies, like nothing like mainstream. It's always like either One Piece or Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z. It's strictly anime.
Though I think probably over like the past year, maybe I've gone to more, just because like, I guess being in the city and it's like, I guess a decent date idea if you're just kind of walking around. But yeah.
Movies are horrible first dates, but they're great every date afterwards.
I'd agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, we say that all. Welcome to the JK Pod. I'm pretty sure we said that already. Welcome to the JK Podcast.
Yeah. Stop repeating yourself. Everyone listens to every word that we say.
Yes, we are streaming live on Twitch. Thank you, Cousin Thomas, in the chat. I see you there, sir. Thank you very much for the biddies as well.
Hello, good sir.
And this is our Pokemon episode, our long-awaited. We've been teasing this now for like 3 weeks. This is all things Pokemon, all things Isle of Armor. We have a lot to talk about today.
Well, see, that's not, for the record, that's not our fault that we were like teasing it for an extra week, because they decided to have even more announcements. So
that's true, and that could be to their detriment.
We'll get into it. I have my own thoughts and opinions.
Okay, so let's roll back the clock and talk about what they announced last week at the Pokemon presentation.
Sure.
Should we go with the big one first, or should we build up to it?
No, I mean, I feel like we have varying opinions on what to say for these smaller things, so I feel like we do that, and then we go to the big one last.
Okay,
so we don't get stuck on just the big one the whole time, and then we're like, oh yeah, so that, goodbye.
Yeah. I guess to start off, they announced Mega Evolutions coming to Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I mean, for someone like me that doesn't play Pokemon Go anymore, unless it's like really something special that happened, whatever. But I the one thing I'll just say on this is that I do like how I feel like between that and wow, what's the name of the game? I'm forgetting it. Mystery Dungeon, where the deluxe edition did have megas added. They keep doing this. It's like they actually do know that people really loved those megas. So I like that. That's all.
Yeah.
For actual Pokemon Go purposes, doesn't affect me.
My biggest issue with megas is I wish they stayed mega. Like the fact, anytime you put a Pokemon back into the PC and it changes back to its original form, that makes me upset. Like, just let Mega Gyarados be Mega Gyarados. Like, just leave that in there.
No, but then it's like another evolution, and it gets kind of weird. Like, I almost prefer the Digimon style, evolve temporarily, come back. I mean, I don't know. Like, also the one thing that I don't like about Megas is, and that I actually prefer about Dynamax stuff, is that, you could Dynamax anything. With Megas, there ends up being like 5 to 9 or so, like really good Megas.
Yeah,
and then you know that they're going to be on the team, and it's usually just one of them per team, and it's like, well, and then it kind of forces you to build your whole team around that Mega or making that Mega work.
Yeah.
So the problem is it does restrict creativity. Well, so, like, I love the Mega designs, but the team building aspect,
Well, that was the issue. Like, in terms of, like, looking at a story base, when you fight a gym leader and you see they have a Pokemon that is capable of Mega Evolution on their team, they're going to Mega Evolve and be, like, the staple of their team.
Right, except usually in these Pokemon games, you don't know what they have. They just show the Pokeball symbols. Unless you look up something.
I mean, like, when we replayed Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I went like, I knew what they were gonna.
Right.
Like,
I'm saying that's like a replay technically though, because you knew kind of what they had. But yeah, but, I get you.
Megas are cool. I don't know how they're gonna work in Go.
Yeah, so that's not out yet, right? They said. Did they say this year?
It's probably going to be the summer thing happening, because right now Go is building up to their big. They're not doing Go Fest this year physically.
Well, they are. Yeah. Online.
They're doing it digitally, so you have to buy a digital ticket. So I'm assuming either during or after Go Fest we'll get Megas. I just don't know if they'll be. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. You finish.
That's more relevant. I just don't know if like they'll do it so Megas are permanent evolutions in Pokemon Go, because that kind of makes more sense. If they can only be used in PvP, or if they can be used in raid battles.
The only thing I found out, I think from just listening to various Pokemon reporting or whatever, is that they are counting the Mega Evolved Pokemon as a separate Pokemon.
Okay, so you'll probably have to do something.
I heard that, I guess, technically it's not out yet, so I don't know if that's 100% true, but I heard
I can see them making
where they're going.
Mega Stones, like physical items, then you physically change the Pokemon forever and there's no going back. And
right, or something like that. Like, they want to treat it, though, as a separate entity, I think, because they don't want to make it too complicated. They just want to be like, oh, well, I have a Mega Sharpedo, so yeah.
The only problem with that is, like, they still haven't gotten the Go integration yet for Pokemon Home. So
I know, that's concerning to me.
That's pretty concerning for me as well. But so if it is a certain Pokemon, like, okay, Mega Sharpedo, when I put it into Home, does it revert back?
I know that stuff gets a little weird, so I have no idea. They're probably gonna lock some of those things.
Like, there aren't even Mega Stones in
Well, right, but I'm saying unless if in any sort of Gen 4 remake, if that's going to be a thing for Gen 8 or for Gen 9, my theory is they're almost going to see, like, wait, people love Dynamax, but they really love Megas. If we could somehow kind of combine them for Gen 9...
It's called Gigantamaxing.
Well, right, but more of a, like, I don't know.
Would you be okay with that if they back the Mega forms, but they only turn into that, like...
in their Gigantamax?
Exactly. So,
like, Mega Sharpedo is just like regular, except when you Gigantamax it, it takes on the exact Mega Evolution form.
Exactly. Would you be okay with that?
I mean, it's cool. I'm not opposed.
I would love it. Like, the giant Alakazam with all the spoons, I would love that.
Right. I mean, just the one thing, though, that I liked about Megas was that it does last for the rest of the battle once you turn it on.
Yes.
But at the same time, I get it, where it's like, that could be really broken at the same time. Like, I don't know.
I kind of like with Sword and Shield, it only lasts 3 turns, the Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing. But at the same time, if I see someone's Pokemon, like, like when the time is up and they shrink back down, all I think is, this battle's going on forever. 3 turns.
I know, right? You also get tricked into that where you're like, oh, now they're so weak, and then you think like, oh, 1 hit, they're dead, and it's like, not necessarily.
I wish the NPCs in that game, like when you fight trainers, I wish that they would Gigantamax earlier. It seems like they always save it for their last Pokemon.
Yes, they do. Like, I think there was one battle where they actually didn't. I don't know if like maybe just I triggered that somehow, but like, yeah, generally it's like very last thing, and it's like I've already wiped their whole team. It's like, okay, I don't know,
yeah. But yeah, that's Mega Evolutions and Go. I'm excited for it. I still actively play Go a lot, so.
I forget now. Are you the max level 40 or whatever?
Yep, level 40.
One quick question. I don't want you to go on a whole tangent, and we're not like Pokemon Go podcast or anything, but what do you do when you're level 40? Like, what is the goal at that point? Is it just Pokédex completion?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't worry about lucky eggs. I don't worry about experience. I don't worry about the battle. I just like going out, doing the raids, catching new things.
It's just all about storage, expanding, and collecting. Yeah.
And like I dump all my Gen 1s into Let's Go Pikachu.
Just to give extra storage.
Yep. So that's
smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
Which you would really love that home integration. I'll tell you that.
Dude, the second that Pokemon Go goes with home, all my shinies are getting dumped over. Everything worthwhile is leaving Go and going to home, because I can start Go from scratch again at level 40, finding like the best things.
Right. My biggest thing is. Oh, keep going.
It's like New Game Plus at that point for me.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, one thing for me is like I at least need your help temporarily with if I want to do my whole Pokédex thing at home. Is I've never still transferred over any sort of Meltan or anything.
I have over 200 of them, so.
Yeah, like just because I get scared, I'm like I have like exactly 400 candy on Go. And I have my Meltan, and then I was like, I don't care anymore, so I stopped once I had it, but I never evolved them. Because then I heard about the new games coming out, and that he was going to be in it and all that stuff, so I'm like, I'm just not even going to touch it. Maybe there's an easier way to evolve them without wasting that or something. I have no idea what I'm thinking. So,
well, I remember when they had, I think it was a year or two, I think it was 2 years ago, they had a special Meltan event where you can get a shiny Meltan from walking.
And I never got it. I tried.
Yeah, you tried, and you changed over, and like your icon still has you with the Meltan in Pokemon Go.
Oh, no, I still do. Yeah, he's like my buddy Pokemon.
I'm like, he's never opened the game since then, has he?
Yeah, no, but I also like Meltan. Like, I honestly think he's my 3rd most favorite Pokemon right now.
Of all time?
Yes.
Ooh.
I know. So now...
I love Meltan too, but that's pretty high.
In the anime, he was so adorable.
Oh, he was great in the anime.
Melmetal had like one move in the Alola League, but it worked.
And a jetpack.
And what?
And a jetpack.
Fair. But, like, I don't know. He's just the man. So I think right now for me, it's like literally Apom, number 1, my man.
Then Tauros.
Then I gotta go Tauros. Love that man. And some people are using him competitive again, so I'm very interested. And then it's gotta be Meltan. I think I honestly dropped Zangoose to number 4.
The fact that Zangoose was that high disturbs
me. Fair. But Zangoose has such a cool shiny. His red thing turns to blue.
For me, it's always going to be Quilava, Umbreon, Ampharos, Lugia.
Now, where does Mega Ampharos slot into there? Is he better or worse than the original?
It's like him in a costume. Like, wait, like, it's like, what's better, shiny Umbreon or no Umbreon? Like, it's a variant.
Obviously shiny, the light blue rings.
Oh, the light blue rings are so good.
Also, though, shiny Tauros is kind of hot trash. It's just like...
Is it green?
Yeah, I think so. Unless they changed it and I'm not aware of it.
Screw all the green shinies. None of them are good.
Machamp. I know Machamp is always the big one.
Why is Dragonite green?
I know. I swear, when they were making those Gen 1 Pokemon, they were just like, that must have been like something that is such a drastic color like range in their program, so they were just like, we gotta try to do this. It really differentiates.
The shinies were only added in during Gen 2 to show off the Game Boy Color's power.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Like, the color might be drastic enough on their end on their spectrum of colors that they were using.
They have changed some of the shinies over time, though.
Yes, except very minimal. I don't know why.
Minimal.
Like,
Very minimal. I would be perfectly okay if they said tomorrow, like, "Hey, we're fixing the green ones."
I think people would actually like have a celebration.
Even just inverse the colors.
Something,
imagine
but not green.
Imagine a yellow Umbreon with black rings.
You know, Espeon is green too.
Exactly. That one doesn't bother me.
That's
much,
not even
though.
Gen 1. That's Gen 2.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that one's more of like a natural looking green. Anyway.
Well,
and you're wearing a green shirt, Ken. What is this?
Yeah, change me. Someone color change me. I'm always worried about wearing green shirts like on streams because like
you just magically have a green screen.
Exactly. Like this is a green screen to someone.
I mean,
no one's gonna do anything, but
no.
One day.
No one will call for help. They'll be like, he knows what he's doing, and you're like, help. Anyway, yep.
What else did they show? They showed off Pokemon Smile.
Honestly, I have tried to use that at least every night.
And?
While I'm brushing my teeth. Just for fun. But then the part of me is like, well, technically, I think they do literally have the 150 Pokedex or something in there.
They do, yeah.
So I'm like, So it was weird, though, because when you start off, like, it's literally, for people that don't know, you literally are just brushing your teeth, and you hold up, like, your phone or put it in, like, a stand. And you could put, like, a little silly hat on you. I don't know if you've played it much.
No, I haven't. I've downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet.
Okay, so it literally puts, like, a silly hat on you, and every day that you play it, you kind of, like, unlock a new hat or a new thing to put on, like, the thing. And to Cousin Thomas, yes, really. Yeah. So I just think it's fun. I mean, whatever. But the default is 2 minutes to brush your teeth, and I'm like, shoot, 2 minutes is a long time. And they keep telling you, like, some text to, like, encourage you or encourage, like, the little kid or whatever, and be like, oh, brush faster and all this stuff. I'm like, God, I'm already brushing fast. I'm, like, really brushing my teeth. I'm like, oh, my God. So for, like, 2 minutes is actually, like, too long. So you could, after the first couple times, you can change it. So I made it to 1 minute. Now, the metagame here, listen, hear me out here. The metagame with Pokemon Smile, it was too hard to do for 1 minute. Because your goal is to brush your teeth, and you have your little Pikachu.
Uh-huh.
And I think, maybe you choose, but I chose Pikachu. He, like, zaps the cavities or, like, the little purple clouds on your mouth and the thing. And, then there's a Pokemon that appears as, like, a shadowy figure. Think of, like, Lavender Town, like the tower.
Yeah, the ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah. So think of that. And eventually at the end, like the last half, that thing appears, and Pikachu's constantly like hitting that with its attacks when you're brushing your teeth. And you have to get enough attacks to clear all the purple off, and then you could catch the Pokemon at the end.
You can see what it is. Okay.
If you don't clear enough of the purple, you can still try to catch them, but it basically makes you auto-fail.
Okay.
So it incentivizes you to actually brush your teeth and actually try.
Damn, that's actually impressive.
Right. So after I played, I was like, oh, interesting. But then when you do it at 1 minute, it was actually too hard to get all of the purple away from the Pokemon because it hit it too late. Like, it would appear, and then it wouldn't actually target it right away. So there would still be some purple left, and I kept failing it for like 2 or 3 days in a row. And I was like, oh my God. But there was a minor update that actually came out, and they adjusted when you start hitting the big cavity or whatever, the enemy Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
So they actually balanced it, which was amazing. And then I tried it earlier today. The balance actually worked. I got the Pokemon. I caught my Ponyta today. Very happy.
And how are your teeth doing?
Cleaner than ever. It's funny though, because they actually take like 4 random screenshots of when you're brushing your teeth, and they're like, hey, if you want, you could decorate them with little stickers that you could unlock every day too, or share them with whoever. So it's funny because then I end up like sharing one of them with Claire, and I just texted to her. I'm like, hey.
When the presentation started off with that game,
yeah,
like I died inside a little bit. But
same.
Like I'm happy to hear that it's doing exactly what it wanted to do.
No, right, and there's no microtransactions, literally nothing. It's no in-app purchases. It's completely free. And it's literally just to incentivize you to brush your teeth or make it a more fun activity.
But now,
and I mean, hey, I'm enjoying it.
Can I transfer the Pokemon from Smile into home?
That was my first question. I was like, I'll play this if I can transfer. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I have all these Pokemon. Let me just play it. And I was like, you know what? It's fun.
And now, if I use whitening strips while playing, do I get a shiny Pokemon?
That might be in the update in 1 year from now. With microtransactions?
The Isle of Teeth DLC.
Oh, God. I feel like you would actually buy that. You're thinking about
moving.
But honestly, I'll say, though, it is kind of fun. There's nothing forcing you to do it, but I'd say try it, Ken. That's all.
Okay. Oh, I got it, so I gotta try it.
And you can hold it with one hand, and you brush your teeth with the other, or you put it in the stand.
That makes sense, yeah. They had,
sometimes I move the camera too much, and then they're like, make sure your head is in the thing, and I'm like, ah.
In the video, they had, like, a stand in the bathroom for the phone. I'm like, if you're in front of the mirror and you need, like, I guess, like, for guys, we wouldn't really need that, but I can see, like...
Yeah, I mean, well, I have, like, my phone stand that I have here.
Yeah, but you're not bringing that to the bathroom with you.
I tried it once, so I put it on the side more. But then the problem is then you have to, like, turn your head to the side to get to register. And I was like, nah, forget this. Yeah. So I just end up, like, holding the phone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really funny, actually. Okay, they also showed Pokemon Cafe Mix, which is a game for mobile and Switch that just came out today, actually. So
last night.
Last night.
Oh, I downloaded that. It came out on iOS at like 11 o'clock at night. I downloaded that, and I already beat the first 50 levels last night.
So during the presentation today, when it started off like, oh, it's out today, I was like, well, I looked at my phone. Shit, it is. It had downloaded. So I didn't realize...
I was so on top of that thing. God, because it came out like mid-afternoon on the Switch yesterday, and I was like, man. So I was like upset that I couldn't play it on my phone, so I kept like double checking. But yeah, I would love to know your thoughts on this first.
Okay, so it's just so people who don't know, it's a Tsum Tsum like game. From what I've been told, I never played Tsum Tsum, but I've been told it's a Tsum Tsum like game.
Well, I've played both, so I guess I could give you a perspective when it's my turn.
Okay, but yeah, you run a cafe for Pokemon by Pokemon. And you're dragging Pokemon around the screen, connecting them to the... Like, when I first saw that, I'm like, okay, there's not really a challenge there. But the challenge is to connect these big combos and then, like, break sugar cubes or, like, break nuts and stuff like that. So you're making these big chains and strategically dragging them across the screen in order to break things. It actually has a lot more depth than I thought it did. And as you progress, you get more and more Pokemon to join the cafe with you. The art style is super cute. You're making pancakes, you're making tea, you're making coffee, and as you upgrade, you get like whipped cream and a nut tree. Love that nut tree. But yeah, it's cute. Again, I thought I was further in than I was. Apparently, I'm only 25 levels in, where you're almost at like 80 something.
Yeah, before this, I think I beat 82.
Yeah, so
and I think currently there's only 100.
Okay,
but what they actually did is after you beat whatever they're up to, because they said actually that they will be updating with more levels and stuff. But after you beat those, you apparently go into like this master mode, which is actually almost like redoing, but harder and harder objectives, and it gives you reward points to raise your friendship even higher with the Pokemon.
A lot of games do that. The One Piece Bonbon game that I play like religiously, like once you beat an entire map, it's like, hey, go back and play it on harder mode. And I'm like, okay,
right.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. So
just for a split second, that app is so manipulative. When I don't play for a while, I get a notification on my phone, and it's Chopper saying, "When will you be back?" I'm like, "Damn you!"
Oh dear God! I try to turn all those notifications.
The fact that it's Chopper saying it, like it's like, "When will you come back for me?" or something like that. I'm like,
God, I wish they would put in the picture of him hiding behind a wall, but him hiding behind the wall is actually out in front of the wall.
Again, not to get too sidetracked, but I'm watching One Piece on Netflix again, like going through it. I'm on the Chopper episodes now, and he's doing the whole.
It really hits home when he wants you to come back to the app.
His Funimation voice, they like nailed it. It's so cute.
I mean, I'm assuming. Wait. Okay, so you're saying so that's different than what we had seen on TV years
That
ago.
was we started out with the 4Kids dub.
Right.
Where
So
they,
actually,
they
yeah,
skipped
okay.
full arcs and full episodes, and Sanji talked like he was from Brooklyn. Hey, Luffy.
I mean, it's basically Joey Wheeler. So yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not Joey Wheeler.
Hey, Yug.
Closer.
Okay, back to the Tsum Tsums.
All right. What? Oh.
So what's been your experience with it?
Okay, so I really like it. First, I don't even know. God, for me, it was like first 30 or so levels, or even first 40 levels. I was like, this is really not hard, but it's fun, but it's not hard. And I wasn't really losing or anything. Maybe I'd use one little power up on the side because I'm like, I keep getting them. I guess I should actually just use them instead of hoarding them the whole time. And if you lose a level, you could pay acorns as their currency thing, and you can like use them to do 3 more turns and stuff. So like I would sometimes do those here or there. But then once it got to like around like 60 or something, it started to get pretty difficult where I'd keep like maybe losing one time, and then I'm just like, not worth the acorns, I'll just try again. And that's where you start losing the hearts and stuff. So actually it's kind of tough right now. It's just a bunch of like kind of like match things next to something to break it. And each Pokemon has like their special ability in terms of their special thing.
Yeah.
It's either in the up direction, the left, the right, down, in a circle. Togepi's is pretty cool where it like takes the line and converts the line into more Togepi. So certain other things like that. It's cool though. I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm already gonna beat it in like another day.
Yeah, it sounds like you're blasting through it.
But I mean, I'm enjoying it. Really love the art style too. I love the concept. I'm hoping they add more levels relatively soon, maybe next month or something, like mid-July and July. I was really tempted to just like support them on the game and technically buy that like $4 Pikachu thing.
Oh, the special Pikachu.
Yeah, I'm debating if I do it to just throw them a thing to be like, I actually enjoyed this.
It's a slippery slope when you do that.
I know that's the problem, but though I feel like this game you don't really need to buy anything. It's kind of okay. It's like Tsum Tsum, what you were saying, except the Pokemon move around a lot. Like you're almost incentivized to move them all around.
That's what I do when I play the game. I see. Okay,
yes.
There's more Pikachu on the screen than anything else. I drag Pikachu and I whip up the entire screen. And like if it's like there's like whipped cream on the screen, I wrap the whipped cream up in the Pikachu.
Yes,
and it breaks them all.
Then
right
it
away.
actually hits them all, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Though a lot of things also take like 3 hits or something, which is always annoying.
The sugar takes 3 hits, and I think the whipped cream's 3 or 4.
3.
3.
Usually 3 for everything. Like they have cheese, and cheese is a 3. Yeah, they have a bunch of things like that.
I haven't seen cheese yet. Cheese.
That might be around 60.
Damn.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, but the thing in Tsum Tsum, I was gonna say, from what I remember when I played it a bit, they don't move around as much. Like when you're actually selecting them.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of all they fall the same way on the puzzle, but then you connect things and then you release it and then they keep dropping in and cave in and stuff. But like they don't like swirl as you're doing it. So
Gotcha.
it's a different mechanic. It's kind of interesting. I hate those tomatoes. That is the death of me, because what you have to do is you have to actually scoop them up. So you have to swirl and scoop and then bring them over to bring them down in the basket somewhere else.
The tomatoes are literally the easiest thing in the game, dude.
You have not played these harder levels.
You just once you wrap around them, just drag the entire circle down to the basket and it counts.
You get very limited in the confined spaces that they give you in these later levels.
Okay.
Because then if the ones where the basket is doesn't line up to the ones you're dragging with the tomato, you can't get past that barrier. Like, so you can't just move the tomato in there. So you keep getting stuck, and you gotta like really. I don't know. I don't like the tomatoes, but it's a fun game. I really like it. I was hyped for it. I like little puzzle games.
Yeah, you were very hyped
games
about it. So
yeah, and honestly, I'm happy about it. So I like it. It's free.
I like this trend that they're doing with like these smaller Pokemon spin-offs coming out on mobile and Switch. Like,
yeah.
This is when like Pokemon Quest came out a year or two ago.
Yeah, and I think also they have a better concept of these smaller games. Like, I honestly prefer this to like Rumble or something, or even like Poke Park or something. Like, those games are selling for like $40-$50. These are like free, and I think they're honestly better made.
I think this one just works on mobile so well.
Yes.
Like, I wouldn't, like, when I played Quest and any of the other ones, I played them on console if I could. This one, I'm looking at like, no, this is a phone game. I can make a drink with a Charmander and get the fuck out.
Exactly.
Well, that's what you want out of a good mobile game. When they say, we're bringing BioShock to the phone, I don't want to sit down and play BioShock on my phone. I want to be like, on the subway, play a Tsum Tsum. Right. There we go.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's just well made. I just hope they make more levels. I'm assuming I'll beat it soon, but definitely try it out, everyone.
If it makes them money, they'll keep supporting it.
That's why I'm like, screw it. Maybe I just give them the $4. I don't know.
But here's the thing. Like, you do $4 now, and like, okay, that's the price of like a high quality app on an app store.
I know.
And then what happens when like, oh, Christmas Pikachu, Hanka Wooper,
Well, the problem is I also still religiously play Pokemon Masters.
Oh, I haven't touched that game in months.
But I have not put any money into Pokemon Masters either.
I don't think I have. I've only put money in Go.
And it's not like I have all the people in Pokemon Masters. I just do what I could do, save up my gems for the right time, and then dump them all on something. But I feel like that game, you can kind of beat it with whoever. And it's sort of the same way with this one, except certain power-ups actually work really well on certain levels.
Yeah.
Not that you ever need that Pikachu. Though they recommend it a couple times. They're like, oh, he could be really good here. I'm like, oh. But I don't know, it's just cute. I fall victim to these like adorable art styles sometimes.
The art style is super cute.
I don't know. That. Yeah, so I like it. I'm glad it came out now, so we weren't just sitting here speculating.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I got to play it already.
Yeah, me too. Was there anything else before we get into the big one from that presentation?
Aren't you talking about the Isle?
Well, no, Pokemon. Well, the end. Like,
okay. I got. Okay,
yeah.
Then you just go for it.
So I think the big shock that no one saw coming was Pokemon Snap.
New Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap.
That's right.
How did you react to this?
Okay, so I was like laying in bed trying to watch this thing, half awake, and I see the smile. I'm like, and then I see the mix. I'm like, and then I see the Snap thing starting, and I was like, no way. Like, I was literally saying no way to myself, like, out loud in bed. And it was like amazing. I thought, like, I've heard people debate about this. I think the graphics look fantastic. I don't know. Maybe I have very low standards for Pokemon games.
I thought they looked phenomenal. I thought they, like,
right.
People start complaining, why doesn't Sword and Shield look this good? And honestly, right. Fair.
I know. I mean, well, you know what it is Bandai Namco working on this one.
Yes, Bandai Namco is working on this one.
Right. So I guess they're more used to more of like these anime type games. I mean, they're known for making like all those Naruto games all the time. Didn't they used to make Dragon Ball games?
Yeah, they've done it in the past.
So I don't know. I mean, I thought it really looked good for what it's worth. I know people are like, how can you put this game on rails still? But I'm like, part of the rails thing was right. Part of the rails thing made it like the challenge. If I'm just gonna walk around and take a picture, like, I'm gonna get bored of that. Like, I'd rather there be a time crunch. I'd rather it be like the cart's pulling away. Like, I want to have that element to it.
Yeah,
so,
if you don't throw the apple fast enough and you don't see the dancing Pikachu, oh well, you keep going. You try again.
Right.
Did you play the original Pokemon Snap?
Yeah, I own it. I've beaten it. I assume I 100%ed it. I remember looking up things of like how to do whatever. And
yeah, the big thing was like the landmarks. Like if you had to take the the picture of the rocks at the right angle, and like, oh, it's a Kingler, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Okay, now that you're saying that, I'm starting to remember that. I mean, I always remember the whole like Moltres thing and the volcano and the egg thing. That was always cool. I don't even remember some of these things, but like it was a fun game. I liked it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for it. I mean, a lot of these people are like, oh, is it coming out the holiday of this year? I'm like, they literally said under construction or something. I am not expecting that before, like, maybe spring, the earliest of next year.
I was thinking holiday this year.
I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm all for it, but
we really have no idea how far along it is. But I think even like the name may get changed too.
I hope. New Pokemon Snap. I'd rather them just say like Pokemon Snap and then it's like colon
The next
something.
A whole new world.
Sure.
I don't know. Something.
Why not?
I think it looks gorgeous though. Like cafe mix.
Pokemon Snap colon cafe mix.
It's just taking like Instagram photos of your coffee.
I mean, that's what this is going to end up being. Like how people were taking pictures with Animal Crossing, people are going to take pictures of Pokemon. It's going to be like the whole thing. So if they try to do that, I think it would work. And I see the cousin Thomas saying he literally, I guess, bought the original Pokemon Snap now because of this to hype himself up. I mean, I would say definitely if you don't own it, I think it'd be really cool to play that one first.
Yeah,
if you have an N64.
I don't own a copy, so I should probably get one. I've played it and I've beaten it.
Really?
I rented from Blockbuster when I was a kid. Because I rented the cartridge, beat it, print out my pictures at the kiosk. Did you ever do that at the kiosk?
What kiosk? No.
All Blockbusters had a dedicated Pokemon Snap kiosk where you got to bring in your cartridge and you put it in and it printed out your photos.
I heard about this on the Nintendo voice chat podcast. I had never heard of that before. That was at our Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I never went to Blockbuster that much.
This is back when the N64 was a thing. Like, we started going to Blockbuster.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying, like, last year. That's not even possible. But, like, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think I went that much, just overall. Like, I went there, but, like, not much.
I used to go to Blockbuster
if anything, I just remember it was like, look at the movies along the back row and stuff, pick something that's cool, and then we would go home with, like, dinner or something, and then we'd all watch something. That was it. I think I maybe rented, like, one video game ever. I don't remember what it is, but I feel like I have.
I used to rent everything because my parents wouldn't buy me stuff. It's like, you can rent it. I'm like, okay.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it sucked too when I rented games and I couldn't beat it. Like, you have them for a week. I couldn't beat them. And this is like before like for Nintendo stuff, like before like the memory cards and whatnot. And
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're still in the renting business, what is it? Don't they have one active Blockbuster in like Alaska? Isn't that what it is?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever need, or if you ever find yourself in Alaska,
if they have the Pokemon Snap like printing station,
the machine, yeah.
I will go. I'll make that like one of my like life goals.
I'll have to get you their phone number, and you could call them tomorrow and see what's up.
Because Thomas in the chat says that it's in Oregon, which is much more doable.
Let's send him to Alaska anyway. Let's see what happens.
Why are we sending him to Alaska? He's gonna get stuck there. And then it's the quest for Thomas.
Oh, well, not him. No, I was talking about send you.
Oh, okay. You're talking to... Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, like talking to him. Be like, no. We send him to Alaska.
Gotcha. Just to get rid of me.
Yeah, temporarily. No. Yeah, so I didn't know that machine, but I guess, do you actually still have any of those?
The stickers, no. They were small. They were like... You take like a photo booth photo, and it's like 3 little photos on a thing. Like, it was like that small, and they were stickers. So like you peel them off and you suck them, and like, oh, Pikachu, that's way too zoomed in. Great sticker, Ken.
Well, but yeah, I'm excited though for the game. I mean, I just don't know how much content it's actually gonna have. Just because
I feel like
you can kind of run through that game.
In the original game, yes, but now like you're dealing with like 800 more Pokemon than the first game had.
Well, but the first game had about half. So...
Yeah, but they only had Gen 1 to work with.
No, I know, but let's say they only put like half in this one, so you have 400. Yes, granted, that is a lot. But I still just wonder, though, are they going to do all of that? Like, incorporate everything? I don't know. But I'm excited for it either way. I'm going to buy it. Like, I'm not, like, on the fence. I'm buying the game, so...
The best thing was, I was joking before the presentation happened. I was texting my buddy Tom from work, And I was like, oh yeah, they're announcing Pokemon Snap today. And he's like, haha. We were like laughing about it. And then it fucking happened.
Well, you have an uncle that works at Game Freak, right?
Oh yeah, Uncle Miyamoto.
Ah, yes.
Miyamoto O'Connor.
Well, if it's your uncle, it doesn't have to be the same last name. All right, O'Connor, fine. Anyway, yes.
Okay, so we're about to move into the Isle of Armor talk for the rest of the show, but
I thought we're gonna move into what was announced today.
No.
Hey, come on, we gotta talk about it. Also, that was the reason why we delayed it a week. You can't let everyone wait another week and then be like, nothing happened this week. I'll just take this over here. So, Mr. Kenneth here normally gets up
Let's
early
Go
for
Johto.
work.
It's not Let's Go Johto.
Well, okay.
It's not a Gen 4 remake.
Kenneth,
it's not a Gen 4 remake.
Kenneth,
Go ahead.
Mr. Kenneth turns on his Pokemon Presents stream and says, oh boy, I can't wait to see what they're going to announce. They announced Pokemon Snap last week. I'm so excited. And then he looks at it and he's like, oh, whatever his name is now. He's sitting in a different office. Okay. And then
that immediately got me worried. Because
I know. It wasn't those Pokemon in the background.
Exactly.
I know. Because the more I kept seeing it and the more I kept thinking about it, I was like, those are like Johto Pokemon predominantly. And they even had the Eevee with the Umbreon and Espeon. Yeah. And then that made me think, oh, is that a Pokemon Coliseum, like, deluxe remake something? Because the starter Pokemon in Coliseum was Umbreon Espeon. And I was like, ooh, that could be spicy. And then they started to talk about this game. And I had heard, like, literally a couple days before about people mentioning, oh, yeah, there was like a job application tweet thing, job search of, like, Tencent hiring a couple people for a Pokemon competitive game. And I didn't consider it, though, because I thought that meant, like, they're just starting development or something. So I was like, whatever. And then they literally showed off this game. So I'm assuming they're hiring people to kind of, like, clean it up or something. But literally, Pokemon Unite. And the Tencent game, which Tencent is known for mobile games in China. Absolutely known for it. Also, they technically bought a majority share of Riot Games. But it's true. A few years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But Tencent is known for basically their mobile games and mostly like shooter games or just like daily check-in and all these kind of like various things being thrown around. And yeah, it's literally the best way I could put it is like a mobile MOBA. So think like League of Legends, Dota, something like that, with Pokemon as your champion. So the thing that throws me off is I just don't play MOBAs on my phone. But aside from that, I mean, I think it looks cool.
Well, you should mention that it's coming to mobile and Switch.
Oh, it is also coming to Switch. So they did show, if you looked closer at some of the gameplay that they were showing, and gameplay without quotes, there was, like, you could see the screen of what you'd have to tap on or something. They also did show a couple glimpses of what you would be pressing on your controller. Like, they were like, ZR for this, whatever. Part of me wishes if it was somehow also on PC, then people would really
be huge if it was on PC.
People would really give this a try if it was on PC. Like, I could see people actually streaming this and whatnot. Like, because I play League all the time, so part of me, like, so okay, to go more into this. So you literally have, if you don't know how League works or a MOBA, like, they showed, like, I think, 10 Pokemon or something you could choose from as your, like, champion.
Yeah, because right now it's currently 5v5.
Oh, so yeah, okay. So they literally only gave you 10 choices for 5v5. All right, but yeah, so it's 5v5. You get these 10 Pokemon. You pick them, and they each kind of start at their base level. You can evolve them as you go around, which is like League of Legends or something. You start off at level 1, and the highest level is level 18. So I don't know what their max level is, but at certain level thresholds, you actually evolve your Pokemon. And instead of like in League where you kill minions, you're actually like catching and battling lesser, smaller, wild Pokemon.
And then bring them back to the checkpoints to...
Right, so then it's a little different where it's not based on kills and turrets and stuff, but it's based on kind of the points that you collect from going out there. But in terms of going out there on the battlefield, you're going to encounter the other team, and so there's still similar types of strategies on how to fight the other team. And each Pokemon, like a champion, has their own kind of basically 3 moves plus an ultimate move. So in this game, the ultimate move is the Unite move. So really the same concept, and you basically can level up your moves, or in this case, almost replace the move, which I guess is slightly different, but it's basically leveling up your move. And you then have your ult, and you just kind of go around and you do what you got to do, and you see what team wins the game. So, I mean, for me, that I like competitive games and whatnot, I think it's cool. I always feel like it's a weird spot because I think this game is mainly for Pokemon players that like MOBA games. But for me that does like MOBA games and Pokemon, I already play League religiously. League is just a more polished, better established on the PC kind of game. So I don't have much of an incentive to actually actively play this game. So I'm in a weird spot because then people like you that don't really play MOBAs but love Pokemon, you're like, oh my god, what is this trash? I'm never playing this.
Well, it's funny because it's more catered to me than anyone else.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, because that's what I'm saying. I already have League, but it's more catered to you. But the problem is you also don't play those games for a reason. So you're like, well, maybe I'll try it, but you're still not going to like it because that's not your type of game. So it sits in a weird spot, in my opinion. I'll try it. But I honestly just think it's going to be huge in China because they already love mobile stuff, and I know Japan loves mobile. These people almost play more phone games than PC games and anything console games almost, except for Nintendo. But mobile games is the biggest thing in those countries.
Yeah.
Maybe aside from Korea, if you're trying to think of all Asian countries, I think Korea is still very big on PC. But China and Japan are very mobile.
Pokemon's been trying to get into the Chinese market for years now. We saw with Sun and Moon, they introduced traditional and simplified Chinese language into their games. They've been really trying to get into that market, and it's been slowly permeating, but
right.
Not
well, that's
to the
why
extent.
I think. Yeah, I mean that's why I think partnering with Tencent is actually huge for the Pokemon company.
It's brilliant.
And Nintendo. I think for a business move, knowing that regardless of how it does here, that is going to be ultra popular there. So I think for them, it's a great move. I think for us, we fit in that weird spot I was just outlining. So I know that if you go on YouTube and you look at the announcement video today, that thing has 1 million dislike things.
Oh yeah, no, it's being hated across the board. Again, it's not a bad product. It's not a bad game. It's just the fact that if this had been just included in last week's presentation, no one would have batted an eye. No one,
I agree.
No one raged against Smile or anything like that because, it was wrapped up in a better format with a lot of their good news along with it. The fact that
I also think, they made it a whole thing, and also they spent then the full 11 minutes on this thing. And if you have people that are really not interested in it, they're like, oh my god, I woke up for this, I can't believe this, etc.
Yeah. Again, I was already up and I was going to watch it regardless, but the fact that
right.
it started out with them mentioning, hey, Kathy makes out today. And they've 2 seconds, good, you mentioned it, get on to Johto. And then it's okay, Pokemon Unite. I'm okay.
I know. And then I was like, maybe I guess it's over. They talked about it at length, they showed some stuff, they interviewed the other guy, and then they were like, and now let's
some
play.
Gameplay.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't need the gameplay. If you just show me the other parts, I'm like, I get it. And now it's just we're going to have these random 5 Japanese people that I guess is good for the people watching this in Japan.
Well, they had the voice actors from the show.
I literally zero idea. Was that the voice of Pikachu from Japanese or something? Yeah. Okay, and then they were it was funny because then they were on the other team, it's this one person, and let's start, and it's the other 4 people were just not mentioned, and it's all
it was random
Nintendo of America or something. And I was like, oh man, I feel bad. But yeah, I mean, Like, it was fine. It's just they did too much, almost. I don't know.
Again,
But
it's the fact that they made this like, hey, no, here's another presentation, and it's a game that applies to a subsection of a subsection of a subsection of players.
I know. I like the attempt.
Yeah. Again,
I just also wonder though if like Tencent wanted their own announcement.
Well, it was interesting because Nintendo of America retweeted last week's presentation, but not.
I heard about this. I heard about this scandal. Yeah, that's why I think it's maybe something to do with Tencent. There's something with that.
I think Nintendo knew, like, hey,
we don't like this.
Exactly. It's not. It's like it's coming because this is the first time a Switch game has been like announced with no Nintendo with it.
I guess, yeah. So, I mean, for what it's worth, I'm still gonna try it. I mean, I love League of Legends. I love Pokemon. I don't see that much of an incentive to actually actively play this one, but I'm gonna at least try it. Maybe they have cool rewards somehow, but I don't know what's gonna be.
It's free to start.
If it's like League is technically a free to start game.
Yeah.
The only things they make you pay for is like special like cosmetic things essentially. So assuming you're gonna have the same kind of setup, you could do what? Probably buy like a shiny Charmander to be a shiny
or
Charizard.
Halloween Charizard or like
right, things like that. I'm assuming that's all it's gonna be for purchases,
Gardevoir
which means
with boobs, something, I don't know.
Oh.
Like
well,
like Misfortune.
Okay.
Misfortune Gardevoir. I'd pay money for that.
All right. Well, the thing is, they're not like. What I'm saying is, at least they're gonna make it so you could at least have every Pokemon free, or at least you earn the money in the game. Like they're not gonna require you to pay for those, assuming they do it like any other game. So there's no barrier to entry like that. It's just a matter of if you like it. I would say try it, but I also think if you like a MOBA like that, like if you end up liking that style, then you should really just play League of Legends. I know, that's why it's so weird.
Again, I think if it was on PC, this would be a completely different conversation.
I 100% agree with that.
It's the fact that it's a mobile, like, even if they said it's only on Switch, to me, only on Switch makes it seem more polished than also on mobile.
Maybe, but
I don't know.
It's also whatever. But I don't think everyone should be as up in arms. But it's more of just a special announcement.
Yeah, you shouldn't be upset. You should be upset that it's not Johto, but don't be mad at the game itself. Like, just because this game exists does not mean that they're not going to do a Let's Go Johto. Like, so don't yell at the devs, don't complain, and then people who are reporting on it, don't yell at people reporting on it. Like, it's their job to report on the game. Like,
though I was secretly hoping it when he was saying like, and that's all for today, and then I was waiting for something to say at the very end to be like, and tune in next week for another presentation. I would have been like, ooh, yes. But that didn't happen, so that was it, at least for now.
He says another presentation, winks at the camera, pulls out a Switch, the Johto, like, the sound effect.
Everyone would lose their minds.
A week later, we're now showing you the skins you can buy in Pokemon Unite. Here is
the Johto skin. Here is the Johto region map for your battlefield.
That physically hurts.
Yes.
Okay.
But
before we move
before
we move into Isle of Armor, there was one other thing that came out with the DLC. Zeraora came to raids in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh, yes.
You cannot catch him, but if 1 million players beat Zeraora, then you get a shiny Zeraora in Pokemon Home. If you beat a Zeraora yourself and you transfer to Pokemon between Sword and Shield and Home within like this like week period, as of recording, we beat we blasted past what the requirement. Last time I checked, it was at 1,200,000. So if you haven't yet, and you're listening to this episode, go beat a Zeraora, then go transfer Pokemon between Sword and Shield and Home, and you will get a shiny Zeraora delivered to your box in Pokemon Home in a couple days.
Yeah, the most recent number I saw was like 1.4 million or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, I allegedly, it was on last Friday, a few days after it started.
Only at 200,000.
Right. So, honestly, Kenneth, I feel like they somehow just, like, added an extra like 700,000 or
It's
something.
still not clear how they were doing it because they said 1,000,000 players. So if I go and kill 10 Zeraora, that's still only one.
I know from everything I've seen on it, it seems to heavily imply unique players.
Yes, but also I think about it. Okay, so if I did 10 Zeraora raids, let's say they were full 4 people raids each time, and every other person who I raided with had at that point never beat a Zeraora,
right?
Then that's another almost 30 something people to add on to it.
Correct.
So I do think the number could have escalated quickly, and the fact that that number was posted Friday morning before the weekend hit, and I think everyone was playing over the weekend.
But doesn't that seem like too much of a jump?
I don't know. Pokemon's big.
Either way, I'm not complaining, because now we get the shiny Zeraora.
Did you move your stuff in home already?
I mean, I've moved things at various points. I mean, it's not even... They're not giving it away until the 29th, which is the day after it ends.
Okay. You have time
so
then.
technically, like, it's not like, oh, I ran out of time. Like, I'm also going to be organizing more boxes later this week, probably, so, like, I'm not concerned.
Dude, I've been organizing, like, crazy. Like, how do I want things done?
The heck is that?
Because
God.
I'm trying to go through
That's
now.
true. Your computer doesn't work, so you got to do, like, handwritten notes.
I'm so used to using legal pads at work.
Fair.
I'm going through box now, like, getting rid of things that say Kenny instead of Ken. Like, trying to, like, update everything. Get rid of, like, old things that Jeff gave me that are probably hacked.
Yeah. You know what I've determined with a lot of these, like, blatantly obvious, like, hacked Pokemon, I think that probably exists somewhere on my system just because. I'm either going to try to trade them away or, like wonder trade them and just be like, get away from me.
That's what I've been doing lately to get some of, like, the oddball things. I've just been like, shiny Hoot Hoot. So all caps JEFF. Let's get rid of you. I don't trust this.
Oh God. Even though they said they wouldn't really crack down on you for that, like if you just kind of have it, they won't crack down. It's more like if you actually use it, then there's a difference.
It's that
they came out with something like that.
Yeah, it's that, and if the Pokemon can't exist at all, like if I get like a Pikachu,
right? If there's a blatantly obvious something where it's like Darkest Lariat Pikachu, it's like
in a Cherish Ball with all
Pikachu
the ribbons.
Could be in a Cherish Ball. All right, yeah. Though, okay, one side note on this while we're talking about like home and whatnot. Okay, so right now, as I talked about last week, I don't have access to my Color Splash that I bought on a whim.
Okay.
But I also don't have access to, let's say, like my Pokemon Ranch or things like that, right?
Correct. I haven't checked mine either yet.
I just can't even access it right now. But also, I got inspired. Hear me out on this.
Okay.
I want to try as some side project to get one Pokemon
with all the ribbons,
with the most amount of ribbons that are basically possible at this point, which is roughly around 86 or 87 from what I've seen.
If you want to do it together and help each other out, I'm down.
Well, we...
As in, like, making a guide for each other, checking up, making sure you, like, remind... Like, we don't have to, like, physically do anything, but, like...
There's... Honestly, I watched a video. He goes through every single step of every single thing to do, and it's, like, a great video. I should link you to
You
that.
need to give me this video, because I would love to do that with a Pokemon.
It is extremely informative. The thing is, you basically have to pick a Pokemon.
Cool.
I have to double check this. Hold on. From either Coliseum or Gale of Darkness.
Oh, fuck.
You have to start on the GameCube. So, I have to confirm the Coliseum works. His example, he used Gale of Darkness.
I'd probably use Gale of Darkness too. That's the better game.
Well, see, I bought Gale of Darkness like a couple of years ago. Never played it, never owned it. I'd started it just for a hot minute, and then I stopped playing it because I think I got busy. But
there are 83 Pokemon in Gale of Darkness you can get.
Well, here's the thing that narrows it even further. To get all the ribbons properly, in Gen 3, in Emerald, in the Battle Frontier, there is 2 ribbons you can earn in the Battle Tower and the Battle Frontier. Now, one of them is for Pokemon level 50 and under. And then the other one is open, so it could be above 50. That is the only level requirement. So you have to get the 2 ribbons on Gale of Darkness, including win 100 battles in a row on Gale of Darkness. This Pokemon has to be under level 50. They also have to be purified.
Yes, well, yeah.
So, to get them purified, don't you have to level them up?
No, it's the more you use them, it slowly chips away at their darkness meter.
Because
it's basically it's like a friendship meter almost.
Because then here's the thing: you can also now think of it this way. This is what scares me. You can earn ribbons in Galar, right? And now that they added this feature with the Isle of Armor, you can actually transfer old Pokemon and make them competitive ready.
The guy who wipes their...
But you lose their moves, so you can't use like old transfer moves or some move you could only get from Silver version on the Virtual Console or something. But if you then use that Pokemon and you're in the Masters Division in a month for their ranked, you actually get a Masters rank ribbon. So technically, that increases the ribbon count by 1 now for all these Pokemon.
My god!
So the ribbon community was freaking out. They're like, "Wait, oh my god, we could get 1 extra ribbon now because of this extra guy and this whole thing." And so then you have to think though, what Pokemon are available in Gale of Darkness under level 50, and is also in Gen 8? Because not all of those Pokemon are in Gen 8.
Wait, no. So I had one a minute ago.
There's like so many little technicalities here.
Mareep in Sword? No, it's not because they put Wooloo in. Fuck.
So I have a couple options now. I'm forgetting them, but I know one option for me, and it's very close, which is why I'm panicking. You can actually get a Tauros in Gale of Darkness.
Oh, you got it, Josh. You have to.
But hear me out. The Tauros is level 46. When you get it.
Oh, it's going to level up then. Because as soon as you purify them, they get all the XP that they should be earning.
Maybe there's a way around that.
Still
get it purified.
There's a Growlithe.
No, garbage, no.
Growlithe is not garbage.
Well, in my mind, compared to a Tauros. So,
Scyther?
I like Scyther. But I already have a Scyther that I transferred from like my Soul Silver that I purposely
we're not doing this
But I purposely caught it at the time with Sport Ball, which goes into Isle of Armor stuff.
Yes.
Because I caught it in Soul Silver with Sport Ball, and I was like, "Oh, that's fancy." I went around and did that. Like I caught like a Diglett with a fastball, and I was doing these random things in Soul Silver, and I transferred them. So technically, I have them like somewhere. I don't know where they are, but yeah. Anyway, so I think it'd be a fun project. I want to make Tauros work. Anyway. Yes. So
even if you don't
all of that is
if you don't get all the ribbons, having a shit ton of ribbons on a Pokemon is still satisfying.
I know. Well, my Milotic does have a lot because that was the one that I had to win the beauty things, and then I was like, let me just do random other contests at the same time. So I ended up having like.
I think my Blaziken from original Ruby and Sapphire had every ribbon from the contest.
Ooh. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you have to do for this. That's just one part of it.
God knows if that thing made it into home, though. I got look at everything now.
And then you got to do like every battle tower. You got to do like 50 wins in a row. And
battle tower. I hate the battle tower.
I lose in that thing at like the worst times. I swear. It could be like battle 41, and then it's like I get wiped. And then I'm like,
nowhere, yeah.
But that's like a very long-term project for me. But I think it's cool.
Sounds exciting.
Anyway.
All right.
At least parts of that touched upon Isle of Armor. So there you go.
Isle of Armor.
Yeah.
The first DLC ever for Pokemon.
And overall, Kenneth, give me a very, very quick summary of did they do a good job?
I was blown away by how much I enjoyed DLC 1. I went into DLC 1 expecting to hate it, thinking it'd be the lesser of the two, and that Crown Tundra would be where I get like all my joy from. Isle of Armor is everything that Sword and Shield should have been when it first came out.
Okay. I like your statement, Kenneth. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
I would more or less agree with that. I know Crown Tundra is supposed to be like the whole raid boss thing, and it's all like the
legendaries and exploring and Reggie. Like there's so much going to be in Crown Tundra.
And then they're just like, oh, the first one, I mean, it's there. You could get some apricorn balls, and they're like, ah. And I was like, okay, I mean, I guess it's cool. It's like some add-ons. And then you actually play it, you're like, wow, all the different features they gave you, it's like baby's first competitive even more. I mean, they're just like, oh, you want vitamins? Here they all are. Oh, you want this? Here it is. Oh, you want to wipe all the EVs because you messed up this Pokemon? Oh, I'll clear them all. It's like crazy just features that are thrown all over the place.
Tons and tons and tons of quality of life stuff.
And it's like, okay, we know that your G-Max Pokemon are kind of screwed when you catch them in a raid. But let's say you actually just had a Trubbish that you really liked the whole time, and you got a 6 IV bred, but it's not G-Max, so it's like, why would I ever use this? You just evolve it, and then you give the soup thing that they made, and then you have the G-Max Pokemon right there. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was worried about the soup going in, because I'm like, oh, it's going to make every G-Max Pokemon that I caught in a raid lesser, because I could just take the perfect IV shiny Pokemon and make them G-Max. But, like, the more I think about it, it's like, hey, it's hard to get a shiny and let alone a perfect shiny. Yeah, make it fucking G-Max. Pour that soup down its throat. And the soup isn't endless either. The fact that you need to get more you need 3 max mushrooms to make the soup, and the max mushrooms only respawn after 3 raids.
Yes.
Like, okay, good. It's something to earn. It's not a hand or a hand-me-down, whatever you call it. A handout.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, it's really good. I like how they did that. They even have that whole restricted sparring in the dojo.
I haven't done any of that yet. Have you?
I haven't done it yet because the problem is they almost made battle points obsolete, because you can also get free mints every day. You can get all these things that there's so many items to collect.
Keep in mind, this is for if you have the Isle of Armor expansion. For those who don't want to buy the DLC, they still need to earn it the hard way. So this is like, hey, if you spent the money, you've put your faith into us, have some mints.
Right, but then at the same time, it's, hey, you spent all this money, you don't need battle points anymore, but want a good challenge, here you go. So I'm okay with that. But like, in terms of actually needing it, you don't. Just because you could get all the mints, you could get ability capsules, you have the Cram-O-Matic thing, which is basically the Scam-O-Matic. But that's at least for the apricorn balls. For the other stuff, it's honestly a good deal. So that's like all perfectly fine. So like, you don't really need battle points anymore, in my opinion, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it just made the barrier to entry for competitive even easier. But they also, I don't know, I just like the Isle of Armor map itself. It's actually really cool.
Amazing. When I first got to it, I thought it was extremely overwhelming. I'm like, yep. Never gonna know what tunnel goes where or what goes here. Right.
I felt like I was just going wherever. I'm like, I don't know.
But it's designed in such a smart way where at any point you can leave the island and go into the water, and you can just circle the island and find your way back to wherever you need to go. But the island itself is there's hills and valleys, all the caves go up and down, and kind of when ants dig a tunnel that go through the mountains and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's so smartly designed. I look at the wild area in comparison. The wild area is flat.
Well, here's the thing. It kind of makes me give this comparison. The Isle, and I think this is what people aren't really touching on. The Isle of Armor is its own, literally, island. It's its own area.
Correct.
You have the wild area on the main part of Galar. I almost think of it, even though it's based on the UK, fair. But
upside down, yeah.
In my view of how to think about this, I almost view the regular wild area like Central Park. It's in the middle of this whole thing with cities all around it. And to some level, it's like, what do you expect? It's right in between gigantic cities. It's like Central Park. It's a nice getaway. But at the same time, if you look around in Central Park, you could still see buildings in the distance. You could still see things. So, you know where you are. So I don't have a problem with the elevation or something that people are complaining about.
I'm not disagreeing with that. It's the fact that in Isle of Armor, when you go down into, the marshy swamp area, Like there are puddles and logs.
No, I
and,
agree.
like,
I agree. They have extra textures and aesthetics that actually make it look like different environments. You have the regular wild area where it's like, in a theory, this is probably a more like swamp-esque area,
like,
and
oh,
it's just like
here's a big tower. There must be ghosts near here. Here's a bunch of like
right.
stones. Ooh, rocks.
It's literally
and
like
sand.
It's like you can tell that they just spent less time on the environment, and then they spent more time on Isle of Armor environments, and you could tell what a difference that even makes just in this game. And it's like you kind of wish they would patch that into the other one.
And it's the fact that the entirety of the Isle of Armor is a 3D wild area type gameplay. The only point where it's not is when you enter the dojo, but that's a small building.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, like
yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, I get it. I mean, just honestly for me, like, what would you do? Like, spend 95% of your time now in Isle of Armor, spend the other 5% on actual Galar, which maybe that's just because it's still new, but I'm just like, I don't have to go anywhere.
yeah, I think the wild area, when they put it out, it's like, okay, let's put this out, see how it works. Like, again, there was like the prototype and whatnot. And then, because again, they start working the Isle of Armor after they finished Sword and Shield. It wasn't like they were developing these at the same time. It's like, okay, Sword and Shield is good to ship. Let's start working on DLC. They did the Isle of Armor. I just think that they had more time and they knew what worked and what didn't work. They had they had a foundation to build off of.
Yes, and I think if you honestly compare this to, let's say, like Diamond and Pearl and then Platinum, the thing is, those were different games, but Platinum was essentially like a cleaned up version of Diamond and Pearl, with some slight additions here, there, whatever.
Correct.
It's just that now with the DLC, if you think of it as a separate game, that is the cleaned up, better version of the wild area. It's just that it's on the same game, so it looks weird. So it's kind of like this is the better thing, but like it's still the same game. So it's a weird in between.
Well, that's
I don't know.
That's the thing. If this was the third game, they would have updated the wild area to be what the Isle of Armor is, or at least gave it more pizzazz. And it's again, you put it the perfect way. The fact that these two things are existing on the same game, and one is drastically better. Like I have no reason to ever go back to the wild area.
Correct, unless there are certain like berries or certain items spawning, or like a certain Pokemon appears in that one only.
But I have every Pokemon.
Right, but let's say, you want to do something competitive and there's actually hidden ability something or that only appears in that den, or there's times, but like generally on the whole, I don't need that other thing. I've got my Isle of Armor. I have all my vitamins there. I could change my hair. I could change whatever I want to do. I got literally everything in that dojo.
Your Pokemon follow you?
That too, which they lag behind you too much. I swear, every time I go fast on my bike and I turn around a corner, my Pokemon is stuck behind a rock on the other side.
Don't go on the bike all the time.
I'm not going to walk around that wild area. Who do you think I am?
It depends on the Pokemon, too.
I don't go in Central Park to walk. I bike in Central Park.
Like, my not Incineroar, my,
Monferno.
No,
I wish.
What's fucking this gen's, Cinderace.
Firestarter?
Cinderace, yeah.
Cinderace.
He keeps up with the bike at full speed.
See, I like that touch.
Because he's fast.
And actually, did you watch the SBJ stream today?
Yep. Where he was testing
Did you see he caught the shiny Dreadnought? Or shiny Choodle?
Yeah, he was trying to get a shiny Buffalon.
Buffalon.
And he ran into
they just kind of ran something by accident. I was like, oh, oops, wait. But, that Dreadnought is so slow when it's trying to follow you.
Did you see Did you see the Avalugg?
No, I did not.
He got
I know it, like, I'm assuming it just like hovers almost like an iceberg or something.
So on land, it's slower than anything. It walks maybe like one step every 5 seconds. Like it's really it's like stupidly slow. But then it gets to the water, it sinks down and it glides like a sheet of ice on the water.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
All right, so here's my question. Has Avalugg broken into your top 10 now because of this?
No, absolutely not. Did you see Keldeo, though?
Yes.
Keldeo runs on the water like it's supposed to.
That was cool. Also, maybe I'm just dumb. I feel like I should have more than one Keldeo. Right?
You should have. You should have.
Did I just like not redeem something on the other
You
versions
should
that I have?
have probably 2 if you were doing because they were doing codes for that Year of Legendary, where you could redeem them on Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
God, did I stupidly just redeem 1?
You might have.
Because I was thinking about it. For the home decks, technically they count the different forms.
That, because you can't put Keldeo in the decks in his alternate form. You need to register both forms in a 3DS game, sync the 3DS Pokedex of whatever game you're playing with Pokemon Bank, and then when Pokemon Bank syncs with home, it carries over the dex info.
So
I had the same issue with Keldeo and Shaman, because I had plenty of Shaman and Keldeo, but when I put them into home, it didn't count their alternate forms. I'm like, why? And then it's the dex info. You say, update the dex in Pokemon Bank before going to home. It was a whole big thing.
So if I've already done it, I'm screwed.
Yes.
Or can you catch a Keldeo in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon with the whole stupid wormhole thing?
I believe so.
I might have to resort to that.
Unless it's mythical? I don't know. Or you might wait till Crown Tundra if they bring it back.
God.
Because they're bringing back every single...
True. What was I going to say?
Surfing Pikachu surfs on the waves.
Oh, really?
Oh, like the Alolan Raichu? The Alolan Raichu, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, I mean, they have some cool things with animations. I mean, that was the one thing that's weird. They didn't hype that at all.
Yeah.
They also didn't talk...
I was happy
they didn't also talk about the rank thing, too, with the old Pokemon could be used in your thing without having to technically rebreed them, which I think that saves people a lot of time, honestly.
Yeah, that's a great feature.
You have a 6IV something from 7th gen, and I was like, great, I have to breed it again to redo it. Now it's just like, okay, just use the 7th gen right there. So I like that. And they didn't announce that at all, which is weird because Isle of Armor is so competitive geared that you would think that'd be like the crown jewel.
Yeah, but that's not... When they're trying to market this game to a mass audience...
I know, but they couldn't even throw it in somewhere.
Well, hey, we know now. We got it.
Right, well, I know. But
I'm happy we got it.
They had the Diglets that is a fun little adventure, I think, just to at least explore the Isle of Armor.
Yeah,
in terms of rewards, not as hot garbage as I thought, because actually all of them are hidden ability that you get.
Yeah, and they do give you all the new Alolan that you couldn't get in base Sun and Moon, like the Executor you couldn't get before. You couldn't get
You mean Sword and Shield?
What'd I say?
You said base Sun and Moon. I was like, I know you could get Alolan Executor in base Sun and Moon.
Yeah, no, but it's because Isle of Armor has Executor. That guy gives you the Alolan Executor now, which is a nice feature.
So yeah, I think that that stuff's good. And honestly, hidden ability was a cool little thing that I realized would happen afterwards. But I think it just forced me to explore the area, which is cool. Because I feel like sometimes you get very geared towards the story tells me go here, I go there. Maybe it's check in with these couple people, talk to them, but the actual environment, maybe if I see a sparkly thing, okay, if not, whatever. But this one had me surfing across the water and going to these random little patches of sand out in the ocean, and it was cool.
I explored so much, it took me the full 11 hours to beat the story because I kept just getting distracted and catching things and exploring.
Yeah,
and
no, I did the same thing.
One of the best moments that happened to me was I got to the part where it was the Slowpoke trial where you had to catch the 3 fast Slowpoke. So I biked into the area and it's oh, use a bike to catch them.
I did the same thing. I know what you're gonna say. Mm-hmm.
So I caught one Slowpoke. I saw it had it was doing the running thing with the dust kicking up. So okay. So I kept going forward looking for more Slowpoke, and I hit the ocean with my bike.
I didn't do that.
I'm on my bike in the ocean, and I see something coming at me, and it's kicking up dust and water. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god. This is my train of thought. Slowpoke's running so fast now, he's running on water. That's amazing. I full steam ahead, my bike to this thing coming at me. Fucking Sharpedo.
Nice.
I was floored. I had the biggest smile because not only is Sharpedo's animation really cool, it gets bothersome after a while. But the first time you see Sharpedo zooming across the water at you, I was like, this is the Pokemon game that I wanted.
Yes, it's those types of interactions that we actually have asked for the whole time.
I was so happy.
But I thought you were gonna say, because what I had done was when it was like, oh, like I already stalled enough to start the story because I was just like, oh, Diglett guy, okay, I'm just gonna go around this first area. I'm gonna go out to the water. Let me try to look, whatever. And then I think, yeah, it got to Slowpoke, and then I was like, oh, different area. I haven't been here yet. Oh, there's a Diglett. Ooh. And then I'm like ignoring the other two Slowpoke just running around. I'm like, Diglett? Oh, Pokemon I haven't caught yet? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I just like keep doing that.
As soon as I had the Sharpedo encounter, I just kept going. I left the left the arena like, okay, those Slowpokers are going to be there.
You know, I thought I did a lot of exploring. I was trying really hard to not look at a map. I was like, let me not even spoil it. I'm just going to go around, do my exploring on my own, whatever. And then I ended up beating the story, doing more Diglett here or there on the way, new Pokemon catching, whatever. And then, you know, I was looking, after you told me you could talk to the little sign, and you could see the list of what Diglett you're missing. So I was like, okay, let me do that. And then it was saying ones that like were like 7, 11, 11, whatever. Like, I haven't even looked there yet. And I was like, really? I was like, I didn't go there yet? And then I pulled up the map. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even go there. I didn't even know that was a thing. There's a desert area. I was like, I didn't even go there.
I found the desert by accident, like early on, and I was like, whoa. And it was sandstorming when I went visit the desert.
Yeah, I had that too for my first time.
Like, shit, this is going to... If the desert feels so much bigger when the sandstorm's happening.
It's literally like a square. It's a rectangle, I guess.
It's like a pill shape.
Yeah, it's very small. And it's like, I don't know... in terms of realistic sense, how there's randomly a desert sitting there, but it's cool though. And yeah, I never even saw, because I didn't see like the honeycomb, whatever they call it, sea, and then the other things, and I don't know, like I guess I also did that, I think, before the very post game of the thing. I don't know, but like it was weird, but it was cool.
I was disappointed in the Honeycomb Sea because, like, on the map, it looks like it's like such an important story, like device element thing. Yes. And I went there. I went there early. It's like, oh, Combee. Okay, good enough.
Yeah.
And then later on,
clever.
And then when the story brings it back to there later, like, I felt dumb that I didn't realize that's where it was going all along.
Oh yeah.
When they're talking,
I didn't go to
They're talking about like, oh, what food is Urshifu like? I'm sitting here like, I don't fucking, like, should I know this?
I know, and then you think about it, wait, it's a bear. Oh,
bears like honey.
I literally never put that together for some reason. I just thought it was bizarre that, like, Hop is, like, licking or tasting all this honey off of random Pokemon, and, like, I was like, this can't be good for you.
The Applin falls off onto your head, and Hop's like, let me.
Yeah, as he looks you dead in the eye, just finger in the mouth.
Tongue unfurls.
Dear God, but it was interesting. Also, literally the wife in the thing, like the wife of the mustard of the dojo, whose name is Honey Mustard. But
I love that.
That lady, I was shocked they put her dialogue in this game.
She can get some. She puts Jimmy Neutron's mom on glass.
You mean on blast?
No, on glass.
On glass?
Yeah, is that the expression?
On blast.
No, I think it's on glass.
Maybe we've heard different expressions. Either way, no, she had some like very suggestive lines, and I was like, "This is a Pokemon game."
Yeah, put you on glass. That's what it is. It's not blast.
Interesting. Also, the your rival, depending on like which DLC you
played Sword, right?
Correct.
So you had
the Clara. Or
I had Avery.
My condolences, but
Avery is hilarious though.
I mean, they're both basically the same character, and they have these like very snide comments after every interaction.
I was happy to have a jerk rival again.
No, I know. Between that and I was just surprised they actually wrote that type of dialogue. So I was like, wow, they put this in the Pokemon game? Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I thought that was kind of refreshing, honestly. It's just, I don't know if we're gonna get piece by piece into the whole story, but you get the Kubfu. That's the whole big thing, and then Kubfu basically grows with you in the DLC.
Well, tell me about your rival. What was her quirk? Like, what was her like gimmick?
Well, I don't know yours.
So Avery, everything he did, like he had like the psychic Pokeball floating around his head, and everything he did was like, "Oh, you've confusioned me. Oh, I'm gonna teleport away now. Teleport." Like he combined all the attack moves into his thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember specific dialogue, but now that you say that, I know she had mentioned like toxic things and poison something because that's what she's supposed to be, and yeah, it was definitely that kind of stuff, and she was a toxic character, so there you go.
Yeah.
She would always make these comments of, "Oh, this kid, how can he do this to me?" and all this stuff, and I was like,
Avery was a real jerk because you find out that he once was the psychic gym leader for Galar, and then he comes from everyone in his family had been the previous gym leader, and he lost like his like standings. Something they don't tell you what happened, but he lost his standing, so he came to the Isle of Armor to kind of like rebuild himself back up to take over the position back in Galar. And it goes into all that detail. It was actually really cool. And then,
that's more sophisticated than Clara's, I'll tell you that.
What was her story?
Hers was really just about she is this like lazy kind of person that doesn't really do much at the dojo the whole time, but she actually really wants to be like a poison gym leader. And I guess it goes from her being toxic about it and being like, "Oh, well, I'm better than you just because," to then at the end being like, "I need to actually train if I want to be a poison gym leader."
Yep.
And it's that mini like redemption arc, I guess. I don't even know.
And she gets the she gets the Slowbro as well.
Yes.
Yeah, because Galarian Slowbro is psychic poison, so both of our rivals get him.
They broke it up, psychic and poison, and hey, it covers both. So therefore, I mean, it was creative. I like that, but it was just refreshing to have a brand new character like that actually had some depth. I mean, my problem with the whole story is that it was just too quick. I knew it was going to happen, but it was just too quick.
I think I broke it up enough accidentally.
Right, I think I did too, so it didn't feel that rushed.
Now let me.
But I think of it on a whole, and then I'm like, it's kind of rushed.
Yeah. Overall, it's a very short story. Like, if you want to speedrun the story, you can do it in an hour.
More or less. Aside from, I guess, after you beat the main part, then I guess you'd have to tack that on after. But the main part of it, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now,
also, keep going. Yeah. Okay. JK. No, what's it called? When you got the Urshifu... Oh, no, not Urshifu. When you got Kubfu, and they were like, "Oh, be prepared. You're going to face, like, really tough stuff." And they were like, whatever. I literally just stood in front of the guy. I used the candy.
This is what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. I used the candy, and I just made him level 80. And I was like, all right, let's go. That was it. No training. I just fed the man some Halloween candy, and we went off.
I did the exact same thing, and I kind of hate myself for it, because I feel like what the story they're trying to tell is that Kubfu you get is at like level 10, I think, when you first get it.
Yeah.
I think they wanted you to go through the entire
I know, like go through the wild area, fight these things, and it's like, look how much Kubfu has grown. I literally just pulled out the map and I was like, oh, it wants me to go there? All right. And then I went there and I was like, what am I supposed to do now? I literally went to some of the mountain areas and I was like, okay, I'm standing here. When am I supposed to like click something? Then I realized I'm supposed to talk to the person. I was like, oh, but yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be like grows with you as you explore the island and slowly raise up, and then be like, wow, he has to be like 70. Oh my god, I guess I better.
Yeah, I didn't realize
train
it
him
had
up
you
some
that
more.
high. Like I got him to 50 naturally, and then like 80.
That's better than I did. Yeah, no, I literally had him at level 10, and then the guy was like, oh, level 70 or higher, and I was like, oh, hold on. And then 1 minute later, level 80, and I was like, hello, and he's like, okay, welcome. I'm like, yep.
Now, when you were taking Kubfu around, did you take him to every single location or just the minimum?
I don't know. It told me 4, so I took him to 4.
Because I think at 3, it says like you can go back now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just knew in my head it was like all those 4 things or something, so I just like did all 4.
Yeah, because I did the 3. It's like, oh, go back and see Mustard now. But like, there's a 4th. So I don't know if like that did like more for you.
No, literally the same cutscene thing.
Okay.
Nothing different. I don't know, but
What'd you think
yeah,
of
I mean,
Kubfu as a Pokemon?
I mean, competitively, apparently, like super strong, super popular. In terms of me just casually using him, he's okay. Like nothing that special.
I like his design. It's cute. The one thing that bothers me is that his hair looks like he's wearing a bandana tied around his head, and then like he has like the two tendrils coming out the back of his head.
Right.
But it's not a bandana. It's just his hair.
Oh, that makes it worse.
So he just has like these two twin tails sticking out the back of his head.
Okay, that makes it worse.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I'll probably never unsee that. But yeah. But you know, the weird part of it is for me though, it's true. The more I've thought about it, it's like at this point, the battles are pretty insignificant. Like, especially after you evolve it into like the Urshifu or something, after you go through the mini battle tower, which is literally like 5 trainers, including Mustard.
Well, that's one thing I was disappointed with, the fact that the Isle of Armor has no trainer battles. Like
But that is fine.
Yeah, but I would have liked a little more. Like the only thing I was battling was wild Pokemon, and they got around this. Mustard and Honey's son. When you first meet him, he gives you the EXP charm. That gives you more EXP for like the things that you do.
Right.
Because so it gives you more XP for catching, and knocking out wild Pokemon. Which, if the island was covered in trainers, you wouldn't need that charm.
I guess, but here's the thing. I've thought about it. Now, you could technically do the DLC after you get to the wild area for the first time.
Correct. You need to get to that one train.
The original wild area.
Yeah.
But let's say, assuming you've beat the game, and all the Pokemon of the wild area level 60, you've already beaten the game. You've already got high-level Pokemon. You've probably dabbled in competitive or bred something or whatever. You've transferred over Pokemon. You likely have at least something level 80, if not 100. Now, at this point also, you've done raid battles, probably. You have money, you have candy, you have whatever. You know, there comes a certain point where it's like, do you need the trainers? Like, is it purely just for EXP purposes when you have the candy to just give them? If you need EVs, you're not battling trainers for EVs. You're battling specific Pokemon to build up your EV stats. You know, you start to think about, it's like, do I need the $10,000 of the money when you've got 10,000 worth from doing one raid?
No, you're completely right. I'm just talking about like flavor for the island itself. Like, this is an island.
No, I agree. No, it ends up looking a little bare after a while, where you're like, you wish there was some like
little bear
people standing around, or yeah, right. But like, if there's more people standing around, and those people maybe they're trainers, or maybe there's just something. Like, I get that part.
Well, because the entire theme of the island is this is an island where people come to train and get stronger.
Correct.
We're part of a dojo of like 20 students. I'm like, okay, they're gonna 20 students around the map, and we're gonna fight them eventually.
Which I'm shocked they didn't do that in part of the story.
Yeah, me too.
You never actually fight those people, which is weird. But those people, I thought part of
those people suck. Can we just talk about how like they've been there for like must be years at this point, and like, okay, time to do the trial. Oh, this new person who wandered onto the island by accident is beating every single trial flawlessly, and all.
Be like, how did no one catch a slowpoke? How did no one pick this berry or whatever stupid thing, or pick the mushroom? And it's like, okay, like, I don't know what your bar is for accepting people into this dojo, but it's very low.
Again, we weren't even the ones supposed to be there. Like, when you first get to the island.
I like that. I like that concept. That was actually very clever, and I appreciated it.
I did too. Did you get the payoff of it later on?
What payoff?
How many watts have you donated?
800,000 or something.
Okay, I don't know if I want to spoil for you what happens at 1 million.
I already spoiled it for myself.
Okay, so you get challenged by Honey to fight.
That's all I know, though. I don't know anything else.
She takes you out back, and she's like, okay,
that sounds wrong. Okay, anyway.
What?
She takes you anyway.
She takes you out back to that one like battle arena.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I called the Pokemon League. A strong trainer will be here soon. And the guy from whose spot you took from the beginning of the game shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I left that day and joined a different dojo, and now I'm the strongest one at that dojo. You're gonna fight me." And Honey's like, "Oh hell no!" The screen cuts to black, and you hear like fighting and like beating up sounds, and she just throws him out of the dojo, like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And then Honey's like, "You know what? Since that guy caused a ruckus, let's you and me fight instead."
Okay, yeah. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, it's a Honey like became like my favorite character in the entire game, the entire DLC.
Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, what's it called?
What'd you think of the tower to evolve Kubfu? I was extremely underwhelmed.
Yes, it was very bare bones, not difficult. It was just extremely easy. I don't know. Like, aside from even just other battles, like, I was gonna say, like, the other battles you have back at the dojo, like, with Mustard and that stuff like that. Because the thing is, for the Isle of Armor and catching these Pokemon, I honestly just brought a couple level 100 Pokemon with me just to be able to survive the attacks and just, like, catch the Pokemon, whatever. And I was like, at that point, I'm like, whatever, that's fine. I'll have the Urshifu plus those 2 level 100s. That should be fine. And I always like to think I'm cool. I walk around with one of my level 100s being my Kyurem fused with Zekrom. So I just love the way that is one of, like, in my mind, that's one of the coolest looking legendaries. I really like that one.
I hate those.
Yikes, dog. But so I just brought him out there. I wiped like the first however many Pokemon of Mustard, and then I just thought it'd be fun because he was gonna send out Urshifu, so I was like, okay, Kyurem, take a good rest. I brought out Urshifu, and then I G-maxed it, and he G-maxed it. So I was like, that's cool. Like, I like that kind of thing.
That's the moment they want you to have.
Yes, and I gave in. I did it. I did what they wanted. So I like that, honestly. But like the battle with him up front when you're doing the Kubfu thing, it's like Kubfu versus Kubfu. Like, I just had Aerial Ace from the beginning. I just kept using Aerial Ace. Like, there's nothing hard to it, which I don't know. It's just part of me. When
they said you could only bring Kubfu into the tower, I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. But then I was expecting more of like almost like a puzzle element to that. Or like make it really difficult. Like, if you haven't gotten this Kubfu with the exact moveset you need, then like I was
go back and train, or learn
go back and train, go learn new moves, spend the watts. But like I got the tower, it's like, oh, it's 5 floors. The 4 floors had like one trainer, each with like one or 2 water Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't a challenge at all. And then you get to Mustard, it's like, okay, he's got a Kubfu. Okay.
I know.
2-shot, he dead.
I know. It was their glorified way of saying, we want you to definitely get this Pokemon, and we want you to definitely evolve it. We're going to make you work for it slightly, but that's about it. And then they made the things like restricted sparring, which is held behind the dojo after you beat it all, which that is actually challenging from what I've seen. It's where
you can only use one type.
They restrict you to one type, and then you're always fighting against basically that same type, but that type always has counter moves. So like moves that are super effective to your type. So that makes it harder to play around, and that actually is a decent exercise in like, oh, how do I actually approach this? It's like a battle tower in a sense, but different. Think of it almost like a Battle Frontier section, like one of the parts of Battle Frontier. Like you already have the battle tower, and this is like a separate one.
It reminds me of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
With the Master Trainers,
after you beat the game, the Master Trainers, where you bring in one Pokemon. It's like, oh, I have my Caterpie, this will be fine. But their Caterpie knows Flamethrower. Like, oh god!
Yeah. They just pull out Sacred Fire, and it's like a picture of Ho-Oh in the back. Ah! But like,
it's a Ho-Oh painted green like a Caterpie. Like, who you getting at?
You hit it once, and that's like Mimikyu. The disguise like falls off, and then you just see a whole Ho-Oh just come out of there.
That's amazing.
But so like those are more difficult things. It's just the actual story part was like beyond easy in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially because we beat the game. That's what I'm saying. Like, because we beat it, we have all this stuff. So it's like,
again, you can make it then. Like when I went into the Isle of Armor, we didn't know how the level scaling worked, because originally we thought like, oh, if you go in level
I
100,
know, but that was such a stupid rumor. When I heard that, I knew that that was an error in translation, or like they didn't understand the question, because the wild area already capped you at level 60, and they had mentioned so like, oh yeah, it scales like a wild area. You know, it scales with your Pokemon. I'm like, and all they went off of was they brought a level 60 Pokemon, and the Pokemon in the wild were level 60. I was like, that doesn't tell me anything, because that's what you could do in the regular one.
yeah. Again,
So
I was hyped for the idea, like, if I came with my 87 Cinderace, like, it'd be like 87
right.
Pokemon.
But I also liked the argument that they did on the Super Effective podcast, if you listen to that argument with this, which I agree with it completely on this part, where they're basically saying, like, so if you were level 100 and they were level 100, and you're just sitting there trying to, like, catch the Pokemon, whatever, that just makes it a longer process at that point. And aside from hyper training, there's such little emphasis in these most recent generations on level 100 Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's basically just get it up to 50, or you know what? We'll make it up to 50. You remember back in like Ruby and Sapphire and like those games? Like I remember I'd get all my Pokemon to level 100, grind out the Elite Four constantly or something, or secret bases or whatever, get them up to 100, and then be like, all right, now I'm ready. Let's battle level 100 Pokemon. And, you know, these days it's just like everyone just battles level 50. It's shorter battles, and it's an easier barrier to entry. And so it's like the whole level 100 appeal has really gone down. Like when I breed like a perfect IV Pokemon, that's almost like my level 100 at that point.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, ooh, I did it. So like
I care about the level 100, like when we're doing like the Mewtwo or the Zeraora fights.
Right, and
Those
of course
things
I have
better
some
be
granted,
level 100, full candy, full everything. Like,
right. I mean, that's fair. I think it's always good to have them, but I think to require that and to want that from every wild Pokemon is actually just in almost like keeping up with the times. That's just behind the times these
plus
days.
it makes evolving a nightmare.
Right, except
You're forced to use rare candy then.
correct. But yeah, like, eh.
Yeah, okay,
But
okay. I'm happy I was.
it is what it is.
Like, if you were to replay the game from like scratch now, like you could like get that experience and go into the Isle of Armor at
Which
level.
I think that's
or 20.
amazing.
Yeah,
Which
I'm gonna do that on my sword version.
that's what I do on my other version too, because I think that'd be great. You go to that wild area, and I think that'd be a chance to play through Sword and Shield again, but with a whole different perspective, because you're actually just getting new Pokemon than what you had as options the first time.
What my plan is to play Sword, get to the Isle of Armor as quick as I can, grab Slowpoke and Kubfu, and then
Okay.
I'm just gonna complete Sword. Like I'm gonna level up Kubfu the right way, slowly. So after I'm finished the game, I take Kubfu back to the Isle of Armor, and that's when I make it like Urshifu.
Okay.
Or like right before the Pokemon League, go back, get Urshifu, then go take on the Pokemon League. I think like I
Right.
can make it narratively more interesting for myself.
Right. Yeah, no, I like that idea. I mean, I just figured in general, you just have more of a selection over there of like different Pokemon. So, like, I would always think like, oh, I'll get a Tauros from there, or like a Scyther from there, and those are different experiences than what I've had in, the regular Galar map. So that would at least change up the story for me in that I have a different team, and it wasn't like, oh, I just passed those up. It's just like completely new.
I'll probably my sword version go to the Isle and grab a Shinx instead of a Yamper.
I agree, and I think, well, I've seen a guy use Bolton competitively, and it's interesting.
I had on my team for the final team. He was on my team. It was great, but like I usually like to play through my second version a little bit differently.
Right, I agree. I purposely try to avoid main Pokemon that I always like using. So I purposely like force myself to use like something random or something that's more challenging for myself. Like that's why I think, what was it? When I was playing through my Moon version or something, I purposely had an Alolan Raticate on my team the whole time just because like it was harder, essentially.
That's really funny.
But yeah, so I mean, here you can go to the Isle of Armor, catch a Dunsparce, and keep it on your team the whole time, and that's a challenge right there.
Yeah, and then hate yourself right then.
Yes.
Okay, can we
Honestly.
talk about the fact that this game, this DLC, gave us no new Galarian forms, but Slowpoke and Slowbro? I was
Yeah,
dying for like, give me even
I
like
know.
2 more Galarian forms.
I know.
I'd be happy. Give me
I know.
give me a legendary like that we didn't know. Like once you get Urshifu, what like we unlocked like oh there's an evil creature in the heart of the Isle of Armor. Go beat him up with Urshifu. I was hoping
Yeah,
just like a little more cheddar.
I'm kind of shocked, and this is what I think has been mentioned on various outlets.
Uh,
I'm also scared then for the Crown Tundra, where
well,
it's going to be the same concept.
have you seen the leaks?
Yes.
You know of what happens with the legendary in that game, right?
There's some. Yes.
The two.
I don't even want.
It's not. Yeah.
Yes.
So
technically,
that
those are
gives me-
new,
Yes.
but aside from that, that's tied to the legendary Pokemon. So in my mind, I'm thinking there's no other new thing. I get it where that maybe gives you hope, but I'm like, if they basically already showed their hand for the Isle of Armor and literally there was nothing else new, they basically showed their whole hand for Crown Tundra as well. There's basically almost nothing new. I don't think we're getting much more.
We're getting Galarian forms for the Reggies.
I don't think so.
I just have a
I
feeling
really don't.
because we have Reggie Alecki and Reggie Drago now.
Right, and then just the 5 of them now create this Galarian Regigigas, basically.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Sure, but that's it. Like,
But we also have the 3 Galarian birds. Zapdos.
I know. I mean, those are cool and all, but there's nothing that's much of a surprise. Like, we see all of that coming, and the whole thing that's been leaked. Of course, we see it coming, but I don't know.
Maybe they'll take this time because here's the thing: that doesn't come out to the fall, like November probably. They have time now to gauge how the feedback was for Isle of Armor.
I know,
which Isle of Armor blew me away. So
I agree. But would they actually be like, oh, let's just now make a Galarian Flygon?
Why not?
I mean, I would love it. I'm just saying, would they actually do it?
I think they might.
I don't know.
Like, there's still that theory that the main guy for Crown Tundra, his hat, everyone's like, oh, it's a new Pokemon, or oh, it's a new Rotom form. What that is, like, that gives me more hope than anything else.
I guess. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we can't start getting into all these Crown Tundra speculations, but
yo, Crown Tundra gonna be lit though.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, I think Isle of Armor is great though.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. Also, even the Cramomatic thing, we talked about it briefly,
okay.
Yeah,
I think it's a poor excuse for Apricorn balls.
I agree.
That should not be how it is. They should have
100%.
been like, oh, here's Kurt's brother. He trains in the Isle of Armor, and give him the balls. You get one every 24 hours or every 12 hours, or whatever.
Come back tomorrow.
Exactly. The fact that no matter what combination you do, it's less than a 1% chance for every Apricorn ball.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is.
It is a 1% chance for the certain Apricorn balls that line up, and then it's a 0.1% chance for a sport ball or a safari ball.
Correct. Okay, yes.
Which, that's insane to me.
That's not I can see that being updated soon.
The only thing I see it as is, you know how the game only gave you 1 or 2 the entire time of those kind of Apricorn balls?
Yeah.
Then it was the concept of, I have a Dreepy and a Love Ball, and then it's like, wow, you used your Love Ball on that? Oh, let's trade our Pokemon that we use the Love Ball on. And it's the same kind of concept because, after all these Apricorns that I threw in there, I got one more Love Ball. What are you going to use that one Love Ball on? A Scyther. Wow, you used on a Scyther. Let's trade that. I think they're still going off of that concept. But it's man, I paid for this. Give me my Apricorn ball.
Exactly. Don't make this like a feature of your DLC and then make it impossible to get.
I know. The thing is, as I was saying earlier, technically on my Soul Silver, I had used these balls purposely at the time for Gen 6 because I thought oh, that would be cool to have a sport ball on my Scyther because you can't get that in these games. And then, but now that I saw this and they actually brought back the sport ball, I was like, that's really cool to use my old Scyther or whatever. But at the same time, it'd be cool to have a sport ball to randomly use on like a new Pokemon.
Yeah.
But what are the chances I'm going to get a new sport ball?
And
literally 1 in 1,000.
God forbid you get the sport ball. You find the Pokemon you want to use it on.
Oh, and then you miss.
And then
right.
you miss.
And well, that is why.
That's why you use the Amper.
Correct. And then what? You get one more try. So what you got to do is you have your sport ball, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go hunting for this Pokemon now. I'm going to save the game. And then if you fail with the 2 attempts, you better shut that thing off, try again. Like, that's what you have to do. I don't see any other way around it. I'm not going to get a 1 in 1,000 chance Pokeball and then miss
the fact
and be like, oh, well, like, you know.
And also how the Cramomatic makes you save to each time.
I know. Which, I don't mind that. It prevents all these sort of hacks and workarounds.
No, I agree.
I like
but
that.
when it comes to the Apricorn balls, it's like, you're pouring hundreds of Apricorns into this fucking machine.
I know.
I do like it, though. It's helped me out a bunch. When I was working on my living decks for the Isle of Armor, I needed another another upgrade.
Dubious disc.
No, I needed an upgrade for Porygon, so I could have Porygon 2 and Porygon Z. And
right, so you kind of looked up what the thing was, and
Yep, I looked it up. And then I needed a King's Rock as well, and at the time we didn't know what the Cramorant recipe was for King's Rock, but you can get more King's Rocks through the Cramorant, Cramomatic. So it's very useful. There's some good stuff in there. I agree that you can like make money off of it too. You can finally use the candy, the
Dynamax candy.
Yeah, which
it's the only way to
purpose.
use it, and you convert it into something that then you could convert it into like a wishing piece.
Exactly.
Which wishing pieces went up in value so much because you can use them on certain dens specifically to do it faster. But any dens in the Isle of Armor, every raid gives you Armorite ore.
Yeah, okay.
At least like one or two.
So let's talk about the Armorite ore, because this, in my opinion, is like the main
currency.
The main currency and the main replay of the DLC.
They're basically the Nook Mile tickets of Isle of Armor.
So one of the big things to do is to upgrade the dojo.
Correct.
And to upgrade the dojo fully, you need to give Honey
3.2 million.
Yeah, a shit ton of watts. And unless you're SBJ from the PKMN podcast...
He was still short by 700,000.
I know.
Which is nuts.
Like,
to me,
it's
okay.
So when you first hear that number, I first heard that, I was texting you, I was complaining, like, this is ridiculous, you're never going to get those watts, yada yada.
Yep.
But then you find the Digging Paw.
Digging Pa and Digging Ma.
Digging Paw for 7 Armorite ore will dig up watts for you. I'm like, anywhere from an 800 to a 5,000 or 8,000 like chunk. And sometimes he can get like he'll find like new motivation and can get you up to like 500 or 800,000 watts.
Yeah.
That's only happened to me once, and he got like I think 400,000 watts.
Yeah, I got something like that one time. Maybe it was like 300,000, something like that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. But again, this requires 7 Armorite more each time. He makes you save while he does it too, so you can't just like keep doing it until he gets the big payoff.
Right.
And to get the Armorite ore, you can either find the Digging Ma and play her little like random game.
She screws me over all
every single time. Or you can
like, yes, one more. Oh, sorry, it broke.
Yeah. Or you can do the non-promoted raid battles on the Isle of Armor. So it can't be any of like the big Gigantamax ones that are right now, and Zero Ore doesn't count as well either. It has to be an Isle of Armor raid with like the shield icon.
Correct.
And not one of the promoted ones. And you'll earn anywhere from 1 to 3 pieces of armor depending on the difficulty of the raid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I've been doing. I've been just doing raid after raid after raid, just banking up ore, going to Digging Paw, spending
getting disappointed, and then going back and
going to Honey, showing her my limp Armorite ore, like here you go, and just
he dug me up a solid 8,000 watts last night. I kind of wanted to cry. He was like, "That's it," and I was like,
"But at the end of the day, that's all I'm doing. I'm doing raids, going to Paw, getting disappointed, going to find the mushrooms that I earned that have respawned since I was doing so many raids.
Yep.
Raiding again, going to paw, mushroom. Like that's the cycle that I'm in now.
I mean, it's not a terrible cycle, but it's just a annoying cycle at some level. But,
I just know that the final reward isn't worth it. It drives me insane.
But yeah, I mean, that's why the actual strategy is to start on mainland Galar in the wild area, and you first grind out. You use your watts to grind out the digging bros. You grind that out, set it on like a turbo controller or something, just grind out,
which I have,
tons of watts.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of watts. And there are chances to get wishing pieces from either brother.
Uh-huh.
So you gather up all these wishing pieces after a while, plus all these other items that you could put in the Cramomatic for items, or you could sell them in the shops, whatever, for money. But then you take the wishing pieces, you go to certain dens, and you just throw the wishing pieces in there yourself. And you keep doing these raids by yourself, do them quick, and just keep stacking the Armorite ore that way. And then use that to...
That's pretty smart.
To not even bother with the lady digging it up that screws you over. I mean, you can if you want, but
I don't bother with her
it's
at all.
harder to find her. She's always in like random locations, like 14 locations or something. So then you take all those Armorite ores from the wishing pieces that you got from the digging thing, bring it to the digging pot, and then have a field day. So it's a little more of a setup, but I actually think that's worth it.
I think that's probably the better...
It seems to be the most optimal strategy of doing it. So I would recommend that for anyone that has turbo controller or just watches something and just sit there, like mash A while you're just watching a show.
Yeah, I should do that. Because I used to do that. That'd be when Sword and Shield came out and I beat it. I was trying to go for the shiny fossil Pokemon.
Right.
So I would get a bunch of watts, go to the digging duo, and leave the turbo controller on, have them spend all my watts, take all the fossil pieces, turbo controller with Miss, what's her name?
I don't know her name. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
And then, because that's the only way to get shiny fossil Pokemon is her giving you one in restoration. Correct. So I got 200 each fossil, so 100 shots pretty much.
Did you even get one?
Nope.
I mean, not that those were like great odds for you to get one, but I was just curious.
I got some really good like fossil Pokemon, but like never a shiny.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's the way to go. And, yeah, just in terms of collecting things, I think it's also just a good way of doing it either
Thomas
way.
in the chat brings up the Galarcian twigs. He's asking if we have any spare ones.
Probably.
Did you get how that worked with the Slowbro?
I didn't even evolve it. Didn't even evolve it yet.
So you take the twigs to a girl, and she makes you a bracelet out of them.
I think I talked to her.
Yeah.
And I got one. I got two.
Yeah. And she says, like, Slowpoke this bracelet. And you read, like, the description. It's like, oh, it's a sweet-smelling bracelet. A lot of Pokemon like to eat this. So the idea is that...
I get it. You put it on the thing as bait, and then the shelter comes up like, ooh!
And bites the arm.
Oh, good God. Wait, that's so evil. Why are they always abusing these Slowpoke?
I don't know.
I swear.
And they mention how the Slowbro is actually pulling on the tongue of the shelter to fire the poison out. Like, he has full control of the arm cannon by pulling the tongue.
God.
It's really funny.
Also, I forget if I've mentioned this before. I've always wondered, you know how in, like, Gold and Silver, the Slowpoke tail thing, the Team Rocket tries to rip you off into buying for, like, 99999. Has anyone ever tried it with that amount of money?
You can't do it. It won't allow you.
To buy it?
Yeah.
That would be a really cool, like, mini, like, something, if you somehow could grind out that money.
You can buy it in Sword and Shield.
Slowpoke tail?
Yeah, that's one of the items for the Curry Dex.
You mean a lagging tail?
Isn't it a Slowpoke tail? It looks just like a Slowpoke tail.
They might have nicknamed it lagging tail.
Because it's a Slowpoke, I get it. Yeah, it's Slowpoke tail.
Okay. It's the more PG version. Um, yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to think. I mean, I feel like that actually covers like pretty big portion of like
What'd you think of
everything.
Mustard?
I mean, he's like an 80-year-old man, stays in fantastic shape out of like an anime. He has a wife that's like 30. Like, I don't know how he did all of this.
I think his wife is as old as him. She's just, it's like one like that trope where like, oh, I'm actually like 60 when she doesn't look it at all. I think that's her whole.
That's probably true too.
Because she mentioned she's been around since like the beginning with Mustard.
True, that man's old. But no, I mean he's cool. He's a cool character.
I loved his eyebrows, like when he pulls off the uniform.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job with him. I really liked his league card though.
Yes,
those were cool. The
black and white one, and then like the current one.
They did a really nice job with those, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought he was a cool character too. It's just they didn't go much into him either.
Did you get that he was hinting at something at the end? Like he's like talking about like, preparing for something?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought they were hinting at like the next DLC maybe, but I don't know.
I didn't get it that way. What was interesting though, little Easter egg, you probably already know. If you go into where he's watching
what he's
TV,
playing on the TV.
He's not playing it though. He's watching it. I think he's just kicking back.
He's playing Pokemon Quest.
Right, I know. There's Pokemon Quest on the screen. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's why people were like, Pokemon Quest 2.
in his card, it mentions like he plays a lot more video games nowadays.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about really quick the kid, their son, which I don't know how that's their son anyway. That's a whole other topic, which also makes me think she's 30. But the kid has like either those are gigantic anime earrings or those are like AirPods.
No, they're hearing aids.
What?
Yeah.
Is he deaf?
Yeah.
Was that in the story?
Yeah.
Really?
If it's not, they hint at it greatly. I think their son's like autistic too. I think he's autistic or something like that.
I have not read into this.
Like I looked at it as like them being inclusive.
I guess I just thought he was like rich kid with AirPods, and I was like, okay.
Like they mentioned, they said like he's not allowed outside. Like his parents let him outside by himself. I took it they were like overprotective, and he has the hearing aids, and like he's at the computer all day. He's not actually like participating in the dojo. He's kind of like I took it like that. I thought he was just a special needs kid.
Interesting. All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to think of anything else. Really, just a fantastic DLC. Again, like I beat the story, but as soon as I beat the story, I just kept going. Like I didn't like. I got all the Diglett. I made a full living dex for the region, and you get the you unlock a crown that I wear on my head, which is awesome. You get a new stamp for your card, a yellow Pokedex stamp. You get the Mark Charm, which makes wild Pokemon show up with marks a lot more, which is very cool. I love the mark idea.
Yeah. Except it ends up having the same effect as ribbons, essentially, where they say a title.
But you can't control the marks where you control ribbons.
Right. But, yeah, it's cool. I didn't do that part yet, but I know of that. Lots
of new clothing, too. I'm wearing the Gigantamax Duraludon shirt in the water. It's very cool.
Cool.
Did you G-Max anyone with the soup?
Not yet. The only thing that was kind of cool, I mean, I haven't done any EV stuff for these, like, new Gigantamax or anything, but literally the first raid I did when I got to Isle of Armor, it was just, like, one of the first ones lit up over there, was Hidden Ability Venusaur, like, regular. Not G-Max, but Hidden Ability Venusaur.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh! So, this is where, like, I got greedy, and I was like, usually, if it's not G-Max and you're doing it yourself, you have 100% catch rate. Doesn't matter if it's hidden ability, it just can't be Gigantamax. Then it's not 100%. So I was like, I need this. So I went by myself into this thing. I beat it, and I caught it. I was very happy. But I haven't done any sort of soup thing yet. I'm assuming you did it for all of them.
I did it for
at least once.
I did it for everyone.
Right.
I was disappointed because we know that G-Max Melmetal is,
I know, and then you can't
in the game. Couldn't feed him the soup. And I also tried feeding Eternatus the soup as well. Because he has
Died.
that, because he has that Eternamax form, which you only get to see when you battle him. It's never,
Correct.
you can never transform into it. I'm like, they're probably gonna make it, because if you read this, like, you talk to the guy, he has a soup, like, cookbook. It mentions every Pokemon that can use it currently, and at the end it says, like, there will be more. It says, like, there will be more, like, we're still writing the book. So I think in the next either update or, like, maybe, like, a mini update from now between Crown Tundra, you'll be able to G-Max Evolve Melmetal and Eternatus.
Eternatus, I don't buy. There's no way you're getting Slifer the Sky Dragon in there. But, I mean, I definitely see Melmetal. I could see them easily waiting till Crown Tundra to be like, oh, hey, we know you know these, but what about Melmetal? And everyone's like, we knew that too. But
we should also mention that Zarude is now in the game, in the code of the game.
Correct.
He has a number. He's officially in there.
He's considered an Isle of Armor Pokemon because, in theory, the movie was supposed to be out at this point.
Yeah, well, he came
would have
over.
been out.
He came over with the update, but he's not part of the Dex.
I thought he was.
He might be, but like I completed the Dex and it like it
right. I don't. It's almost
210.
like a Mew. It's almost like Mew, where Mew is not required, but it's an add-on. But I think he got either way.
It's also weird because Magearna, who before the update you couldn't transfer into Sword and Shield.
Correct, and now you can.
Now you can, and I did, but she's not a part of the Armor Dex. She just exists.
Interesting.
So I think that like maybe when Crown Tundra comes out,
then they'll actually give her a number in the Dex.
That's what I'm assuming. But
or they're doing like the Sun and Moon approach of just when you transfer in those extra ones that aren't native to the region, it's just like, well, they're here, but no number. Goodbye.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing with that. But that was just something interesting.
I mean, I guess that's whatever anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right. Anything else? I think we're about ready to wrap it up here. I'm racking my brain. I feel like there's stuff that we're missing, obvious stuff, but
probably. But I mean, part of it is play it for yourself. I mean, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
For anyone listening, it's worth the $15 if you think about it. $15 for this one, $15 for Crown Tundra. I think it's worth it.
I've been telling everyone like if you weren't like really that enthused with Sword and Shield, like. This is what Sword and Shield should have been. Like, I would love a full Pokemon game in this, like, style. Like, if, like, this island is, like, an island in a Pokemon game, and then I had an entire region to explore like this, full 3D camera, full exploration, like, sign me up.
I think it's cool. And I think it's going to be what Crown Tundra basically is, I would have to think. But it's also, I think, a giant precursor to what they might hopefully try for more of like a Gen 9 game. Yeah. So,
or at the very least, what we'll see in either a Gen 4 remake or I don't think Let's Go Johto. If they do that, I think Let's Go Johto's going to stick to the
right. I agree.
The formula, but you never know. Because if you think about how Sinnoh's laid out, like with the mountain and everything like that, Sinnoh would make a great wild area.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I
just think it's weird when you have a remake, though, because you can't. I feel like you can't make a whole remake, a whole wild area for the whole game. I feel like it's got to be somewhat true.
True.
So I feel like maybe they make certain areas wild areas.
Underground, a wild area.
Oh, that'd be weird, but okay, yeah. I could just see them saying instead of one wild area for Sinnoh, they could be like this wild area, like pockets throughout the region, which might be interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, but it might be interesting.
If honestly, like if they are doing a Gen 4 remake, I want it to be like pretty simple.
Right.
Like I'm nostalgic about like they're never gonna do a high definition like sprite based game again. Even though I would love them to.
I would really enjoy that.
Like if they just took Gen 4 and ran it through the Octopath Traveler engine and put it on Switch. I would all my money.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. But we shall dream another day because we have no more Pokemon Presents for the foreseeable future.
Thank God. Yeah.
Oh God. Thank God.
Yeah. I just hope that we don't go. So again, we're expecting Crown Tundra in November. I'm just hoping we don't go July, August, September, 5. I hope we don't go 5 months with nothing new. Like, I'm expecting in the next 5 months,
I know.
we get Zarude, we get maybe they release Melmetal into the raids, because at this point they've exhausted all the raids.
Well, no, they didn't do promoted raids now for the newest ones. Technically, they could promote, like, Venusaur, Blastoise. I think that's their next plan for the couple months. You know what's going to happen.
They might do that for the starters, too, then.
Yeah, for, like, July, August, they're going to be like, hey, now you can get these. They're promoted for the month of July, and these are promoted for the month of August. It's like, go get them.
Like, it's a great idea. It makes Pokemon like a live game, but, like, I own all the G-Maxes. I have so much candy. Like, doing
I know. The
raids,
problem is now that you have the soup, it's like, shoot, I don't need these promoted raids now. Give me
Exactly.
promoted raids of random Pokemon.
Yeah, it doesn't...
I know. But I'm just telling you what they're going to do. I'm not telling you what I want them to do.
Yeah, this is the entire Pokemon Unite situation again. Yeah, I'm just telling you. That's what they're doing.
Yep. But...
All right. Well, I think we're both very pleased with the DLC. I think that...
Yep.
I think it's great. It blew me away for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised, honestly.
All right.
I thought I'd get bored of it, finish it, and be like, eh. But now I'm like, oh,
It's
good.
it's engaging. Like fighting.
Yes.
Did you catch the Whale Lord?
I killed it. I was curious. I'm like, I know they have a lot of health, and I have my Kyurem with the fusion bolt
Oh my god!
at
you
level
idiot.
100, and I was like, let me just try this.
It's not
And
that beefy.
It wiped. I was like,
They respawn after every like 3 or 4 days.
yeah. I mean, it was cool though, because technically, wild area Pokemon that's level 80. It was cool.
It bothers me that he's so big in life size when you see him.
And then I know, and then you see the one that you catch and you put behind, and it's like, eh.
It's like a lifeboat. Like, come on.
It's like your child,
It's the child Whale Lord.
or the parent, or whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
All right. Well, I think that's our show for tonight. It went on a little bit longer than we were planning, but I think it usually always does. I do not know when our next episode will be, but because we're trying to do smaller, more consistent episodes, hopefully within the next week or so, we'll probably go back to our normal format. We're talking about like the various games we've been playing, some news and talking points. Like, there's been a bunch of stuff going on. A new Crash game was announced.
Crash 4.
Apple had their big conference, so lots of stuff like that. So I assume our next JK podcast will be more of the traditional format that you're used to, but still on the smaller, more condensed side in these trying times.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good to me, sir.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Until then, I've been Ken O'Connor.
I'm Josh Brandman.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Peace.